Everybody here. Do appreciate everybody watching. Y'all wonderful. If you disagree with something I have on the board, definitely go ahead and come on up. I'll definitely love to talk to you. Make sure that it gets started on the YouTube as well. All right, cool. We started here over on the YouTube. We started over on Instagram as well. So we're going to go ahead and start the live everywhere. All right, y'all. So now we is live everywhere. We are on Instagram. We're on Twitch. We're on Facebook. And, of course, we're on all the YouTube channels. If you disagree with what I have on the board, go ahead and come on up. Or like to talk about something I have on the board, go ahead and come on up. I would definitely love to talk to you. We'd definitely love to have a conversation. I do appreciate y'all for being here and joining in. Again, wherever you're watching from, if you're watching from Instagram, if you're watching from Twitch, if you're watching from Facebook, or if you're watching on any of the YouTube channels, know that I appreciate you. If you aren't on those other sites and not on TikTok and you want to know how to join and have the conversation, the link is right there. Y'all see it up here, right? tiny.cc/VolciLive. You go to that website and you'll be able to speak to me on any of the topics that we have on the screen. Once again, thank y'all so much for joining. I appreciate y'all's being here. And if you would like to talk about what I have on the board, either press that request button over on TikTok or go to the link that you see up here, and we can definitely have that conversation. Most definitely. So we're just waiting for anyone to come up. And I think we do have a guest. Let me pause the music really quickly. All right. We got our first guest. Name is user 808. I'm not gonna call you user the entire time. What's the name I could call you?
You could just call me Dave or David. That's my actual name.
All right, cool, David. How's it going, David? Are you at least 18? And which number did you want to talk about?
Well, yeah, I'm 18 and I'm doing well. And in regards to this, I guess we could do 2 and 3 because I'm sure they're kind of correlatory with one another.
They do. All right. So number 2 and number 3. Yes, systemic racism is real. We see it in real estate. We see it in the criminal justice system. That's the most obvious one. We see it in the healthcare industry. That's not as obvious, but it's also one that we see it in. We see it in general societal attitudes about African American and Black people. So it's real. And number 3, I think leftist policies will be the ones to address those most likely.
All right. And in regards to leftist policies, is that it? Is the only leftist policies that are good for or better for society are they only in reference to systemic racism, or is there anything more broad than that?
It's more broad than that. It's for better for society in general. I think it carries better outcomes, not only outcomes, but increases opportunities and decreases things like stress and psychological issues as well.
Okay. Well, I guess the one contention I have with the broader aspect, I would assume, and correct me if I'm wrong on the leftist policy aspect, the left tends to be a lot more anti-interventionist. Do you agree with that, or
like intervening in other worldly events? Yeah, sure. We're less interventionist.
Okay. Well, that I completely disagree with. I don't think that we should be anti-interventionist. I think we should be more interventionist, depending on the conflict or the situation. I think we should intervene in stuff that offers a benefit to us, such as the current Iran conflict, while scaling back on doing stuff like funding Ukraine, as that doesn't offer us any immediate or really long-term, material benefit.
The only thing that I'd say we should intervene in is like if there's something like what we saw in World War III, then I wouldn't have a lot of beef. I'm sorry, I said World War III, World War II. If we saw something like that happening, then I wouldn't have a lot of beef in intervening, right? But what's happening now is that we do see something similar happening, and we're on the side of the people committing the atrocity, not the ones that are fighting against it. So when people say like we should intervene in things that benefit us, what we've seen is, especially with the United States history, which is one of the reasons why my parents even moved here, is that when America does intervene, it actually makes things worse. So if we're going to intervene, I don't have beef with humanitarian issues like a World War III, like what's going on in Gaza. I don't have any issue with intervening on the people who are being destroyed, right? I don't think anybody would. But if we're intervening because, oh, it's better for us to have a government who's going to sell us oil, I don't see any point in having a making destruction on life and liberty and property simply because we're going to get a benefit of some resources that should be going to the people that should be benefiting the people there anyway, not benefiting us mostly.
Well, I would assume global hegemony is a must, especially out of the top three nations. Take the U.S., China, and Russia, obviously being the top three. We're all vying for power. It's obviously a global tug of war on who gets more powerful, and obviously in order for us to maintain global hegemony over the other two behind us, we would have to. Interventionism is practically a must. The main reason why stuff like the petrodollar is still afloat is due to global interventionism. A good example, when Gaddafi tried to move away from that in 2011, now whether we could argue on whether or not it was good, but when Gaddafi tried to move away from it in 2011, that would have harmed us on global standing. That's why he went bye-bye, let alone the fact that he did fund terrorism, let alone the fact that he had several UN resolutions against him, such as UN Resolution 1973, which showed that he wasn't really the nicest of people, even to the people in which he was meant to rule.
Sure, so, he's not the nicest of people, but taking him out caused the slave trade. So what did we win?
By slave trade, we mean what?
There is a literal slave trade happening in Libya right now.
Mm-hmm. And now, what is the evidence that the overthrowing of Gaddafi in 2011 led to that? Because obviously
because it didn't happen while he was there.
Well, again, that would be correlation causation fallacy unless we could prove it. Just because something is correlated just because something happens doesn't mean,
you recognize that us taking out Gaddafi created a power vacuum in Libya and plunged the entire society into complete disarray, right?
Sure, I could grant that, but I would like to provide the evidence
because of that situation, slave trade happened. So taking out Gaddafi directly led to the Libyan slave trade.
Okay, so provide the evidence that it's a power vacuum that led to the slave trade occurring.
Okay, how else do you think it occurred? Because without that power vacuum, without anybody running anything, without all that happening, then slave trade popped up. If there wasn't a power vacuum, do you think that there still would have been a slave trade?
Well, again, that's just a repeating of this statement. I'm asking you to provide the evidence instead of burden shifting onto me. I'm asking you to provide the evidence that the power vacuum led to the slave trade erupting within the region.
I'm not sure what you're asking for here.
Like if I make the claim, let's just make a random claim for a second. If I say illegal immigrants cause more harm than benefit, I would have to provide evidence for that claim. Mm-hmm. I can't just repeat the statement of, yeah, they just cause more harm than benefit. I'm gonna actually have to provide the evidence for that claim.
All right. So here's the thing. So all right. So because of the power vacuum, because there was no one actually running Libya, there was no police force, no military. Everything was in disarray. That led to warlord factions in that region. That's not just me saying that. That's according to what we see militarily. After the power vacuum fell through, we see warlords pop up, and one of those warlords started slave trading. So the power vacuum is what led to the warlords. The warlords slave traded. Like it's a direct line.
Okay, then can you name me the name of the group?
No, I can't.
Or the person?
No, I can't.
We can't name the group, at least?
No, I can't.
I'm not asking for the name.
No, I can't. I can't name the group. Here's the thing. You agree that slave trading is happening in Libya right now?
Oh, sure.
All right, but you don't believe that the power vacuum is what led to that?
Not necessarily, unless you could prove it.
Why not?
Unless you can prove that's going to be burden shifting onto me.
That's not burden shifting. I'm asking you, what's difficult to believe about that? Because it's if slave trading happened and the war and the power vacuum happened and the warlords took over after the power vacuum and then they started slave trading, how can you then what's hard to believe that the power vacuum led to slave trade? I don't get what the
name one of the warlords.
No, I told you I can't.
If we can't name at least one group or at least a warlord for that matter, why? If we can't even name any of this type of stuff, why am I to believe? Oh, unless you could provide a source that actually also shows that claim.
The military, the Pentagon.
Oh, the Pentagon report. Okay, when did this Pentagon report come out?
I can't tell you. There's something I'm just recalling. All right, I'm really having difficulty with what your contention is here. Are you just contending that the power vacuum? You understand that Libya fell into disarray after we took out Gaddafi, and then after we took out Gaddafi, a whole bunch of warlords took over.
Sure, it fell into disarray.
All right, cool. How was that good for us, or good for the people in the region?
Well, again, are we just going to implicitly concede to the fact that you couldn't prove that initial claim?
No, I already proved the initial claim. I already proved the initial claim. You already agree with me that taking out Gaddafi led to the warlords taking over the Libya, and taking over the wars that took over in Libya started slave trading. It's a direct line.
Again, prove that.
Prove what? Prove that the warlords started slave trading? You already agreed that they're slave trading.
No, wait a second. Wait. Actually, no, that's not what I agreed with. What did I agree with?
You agreed that taking out Gaddafi led to Libya to disarray. Libya being in disarray led to the warlords taking over. Once the warlords took over, you even agreed that one of them started slave trading. So it's a direct line. Taking out Gaddafi was what led to the slave trading.
Proof. Still waiting.
You already agreed.
That's again. I'll repeat to you what I agreed with. When you asked me, did it lead to disarray? I said yes. I did not agree or concede on anything else. I only agreed to that.
Did it lead to the warlords taking over?
You said a Pentagon report.
Did it lead to the warlords taking over?
So you can't provide that Pentagon report that you mentioned earlier, right?
No, I'm not. I can't provide the Pentagon report. Here's what I want to do.
You mentioned a Pentagon report. You can't provide it. Kind of strange.
No, I said this was all right. Give me a second. Would you mind give me a second? Because I don't want to get bogged down in rhetoric. The fact of the matter is, taking out Gaddafi, what did it benefit us?
Again, okay. So a couple things.
Well, that was your claim. You claimed that it benefited us. What did it benefit us?
No, exactly. I'm responding. So two things. First, it's going to be one thing since you're pulling up the report regardless anyway. So number one, first of all, the slave trade and whatnot, the issue with quote unquote slavery and whatever, that has been a major issue within Northern Africa, especially in Libya for quite a bit now. Even before Gaddafi decided to lose his mind within the region. That's number one. Second of all, what benefit did it offer us? Yeah. It added on to the global hegemony aspect, because if Gaddafi moved away from us on the petrodollar, that would have severely harmed the petrodollar, and that would have given an incentive for Russia or China to surpass us, which we cannot have.
So what? So why do we need global hegemony? Why does anybody need global hegemony? We don't need that.
Why does anybody need to be on top?
Yeah, we don't need that. We shouldn't have that because this entire fight about global hegemony has always led to death and destruction on a massive scale. It's not good. So why keep doing it?
Yeah. So would you be okay for, let's say, Russia or China to surpass us?
I don't care who surpasses us. There doesn't need to be hegemony. That's what I'm saying. I don't want Russia to have hegemony. I don't want China to have hegemony. I don't want us to have hegemony. None of us need to take over the other one. None of us need that.
Yeah, again, a global hegemony does not mean like the all of a sudden like militaristic takeover of anybody. That doesn't necessarily mean that. And second of all, again, that's not the way that the globe works, especially not in today's political climate.
I understand that. I'm saying that we need to move on from that. Humanity as a whole should move on from that. I don't want us to have it. It can happen if people like yourself understand that we don't need to be on top of anybody. It's not
funny-
just you. It's not just you. It's also the people over in China that wants it. It's also people over in Russia that wants it. None of us need to take over somebody else. We do not need that, because every time we've tried to force hegemony, it's always led to death and destruction. And you admitted that us taking out Gaddafi led to the power vacuum and the death and destruction that we see in Libya today. So it's not good, bro.
So yeah, a couple things. One, death and destruction is bound to happen, and it's just human nature. It's sad, but it's just human nature regardless.
Disagree.
Second of all, I mean, we've seen death and destruction for the past 200,000 years in which Homo sapiens have been around on the planet. So that's number one. Second of all, especially human-caused death and destruction, and we've seen plenty of it within the last century alone. And second of all, in regards to this situation, again, it's just human nature in the sense where humans always want to be number one, whether you like it or not. That's never going to change anytime soon. Human nature is extremely hard to change, so that's not going to change anytime soon. And third of all, in regards to this whole thing of, and this is where I'll land my plane so you can respond. In regards to this whole thing of, hey, we shouldn't have global hegemony and whatever. Yeah, that's when that's. I guess actually the statement I should posit is, if we're stating that we shouldn't have global hegemony because it causes too much death and destruction, so on and so forth, well, what's the issue with, what's like the implicit wrongness of having so much death and destruction if it leads to a greater good?
It doesn't. We haven't seen it led to a greater good. The only thing you said that it led to is us having more control over resources. That's not for the greater good. And the second thing I would say is that I disagree that it's part of human nature. Human nature have shown we've had global right now we have a global civilizations, and we've been able to live with each other without conquering others, without enslaving others. We've been able to live like that for hundreds of years. Like the violence that exists within humanity has declined sharply over the past 100-something years, as we've better our world through technology, through working together, diplomacy, et cetera. So for you to say that death and destruction and war was just always be part of us, I disagree with that. We can get to a point where war is a thing of the past. We don't need it. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, I don't see where going into countries or into societies, taking over their resources, killing their leaders who only want the best for those people, is suddenly just leads to the best outcome because yay, America, we're on top now. That sounds ridiculous. I mean, the majority of the issues that exist in contemporary Africa right now are because of European colonialism. Like what is being served by millions of Africans, like dying from warlords, from poison, from AIDS, just because Europe wants more resources. That sounds crazy.
And also death and destruction caused by themselves as well. But the funny thing is,
and where did it come from?
Wait a second. Well, again, they were causing it amongst themselves even before Europe got involved. Yeah.
On the scale that it is now.
On this, what do you mean on the scale that?
On the scale that it is now.
That's primarily the fault of the Middle East. You understand?
No.
Right? Oh,
no. At least in Sudan, and I'm sorry. Except for Sudan. For Sudan, yeah, that's definitely because of the Middle East. But on the scale of ethnic conflict that we see in Africa right now, that's 100% because of colonialism. Because who drew those borders?
Wait a second. Where do you think groups like Boko Haram and ISIS and stuff like that all originated?
Yeah, I don't believe in Islam either. I already said when it comes to the Sudan, yeah, that's definitely because of the Middle East. I agree with you there. But what I'm questioning is that most of the ethnic conflict that happens in Africa right now are due to those border issues. Who drew those borders?
By ethnic conflict, you mean what?
What do you mean by ethnic conflict? You understand that there's thousands of ethnicities over in Africa right now, right? You understand that, right?
Again, that's why I'm trying to clarify terms here. What do you mean by ethnic conflict?
Ethnic conflict, the conflict between the ethnicities. I'm not sure how that's not clear. I'm
okay. Confused. And what is the proof that's majority caused by European involvement?
History. Like the moment a lot of these well, first of all, these countries are colonized first, right? And you understand that under the borders of these colonies, they cross through ethnicities. Those ethnic borders didn't exist without Europeans. As a matter of fact, the borders in African countries right now weren't drawn by those ethnicities. They were drawn by colonists. You understand that? That's like documented history.
Well, again, that's just a repeating of the statement.
Dave, listen. The borders that exist in African countries were not drawn by Africans. It was drawn by European colonists. You get that part, right?
All of them?
All of them.
And Africans have no say-so.
No say-so. Have you ever heard of the Berlin Conference?
Prove that?
What do you mean prove it? This is history.
Yeah, funnily enough, the Berlin Conference
happened in the 1800s. Again, I'm talking about the modern borders, the modern borders drawn in Africa right now for those countries. Those were not drawn by Africans. They were drawn by the colonizers.
Well, okay. Oh my God. Now we're massively confused on the Berlin Conference. Okay. One, the Berlin Conference didn't, again, draw out the borders for the entire thing that we have now.
They drew out I know that they drew out the borders for their territory. What I'm saying is that they didn't take the Africans into consideration. You agree with that, right?
Yeah, and we had plenty of other conferences.
Okay, cool. Got you. Cool. But I'm talking about the one that carved up Africa, the scramble for Africa. You know about that one.
Can I finish?
Hold on, Davey, because I don't want to get off topic.
You didn't answer my question, though. So
you asked me to prove that the modern borders in Africa were not drawn by Africans. This is literally history, bro. What are we talking about?
That's not the question I asked you.
What was your question?
The question I asked you, because you made the statement that it was done so without, Africans having any say-so.
Correct. That's history.
Prove that. Prove it.
Bro, that's in the history books. What do you mean?
Prove it. So
prove what?
I'm waiting for the evidence that Africans had no say-so whatsoever.
In their borders? It's literally history. After colonization, when all these countries were decolonized from after World War II, you realize those borders were already drawn. The Africans didn't draw those.
Again, I'm waiting for the proof. You're just repeating the statement.
It's literally in history, bro. This is documented history.
You're just repeating the claim.
All right, then go Google it. Go Google it then. Because this is documented history.
Why am I Googling your claim?
This is documented history, bro. If you don't know about it, I'm not. If you don't know about it, I'm not gonna help you out. This is documented history.
So you can't prove your own.
All right, can you be quiet for a second then? Okay, great. Be quiet for a second.
Waiting.
All right, so we're gonna do a very quick Google search, and then after that, we're gonna go into the sources. You ready?
I'm waiting.
We're gonna go to a very quick Google search, right? All right, so very quick Google search right there. No, the borders of Africa were almost exclusively drawn by European powers during the late 19th, 20th centuries to serve their own strategic, economic, and administrative interests. They were not drawn with the people living on the continent in mind. So that's the first one. Then we can go to its source where they actually got it from. Here, this one is even from America, the American Economic Association. I'm not sure if that's good enough for you, or do we have to go to another historical app? Where do we need to go? What would be a good source for you? Because this will go more into it. So these are the colonial borders.
It doesn't prove your claim, you know that, right? What you just read out.
Yes, it does. It literally said so, because my claim was that the borders that were drawn were not drawn with the people in mind, and they did not draw them themselves. Europeans drew them. That was my claim, and you asked me to prove it. I did a really quick Google. I know it's AI overview. Well, I said we could go to the source because the AI overview only gives you a summary of the source. So I said we could go straight to the source. Then let's look at the source. So that's what I said.
Yeah, did you notice the specific terminology that was used? Notice how it said the term almost. When you made your claim, you made it as an absolute 100%.
We're gonna move on, y'all. I'm not done with this no more. We're gonna go ahead and move on. All right, we have is that Rising Sun? I'm sorry. I got your name wrong. Hold on. Let me unmute you real quick. Can you unmute real quick? Because I don't have you on.
It's roguish. What's
There we
good?
go. Give me 1 second, Rogish. There we go. All right, Rogish. How's it going, Rogish? Are you at least 18? And did you disagree with something I had on the board, or want to talk about what I had on the board?
At least 18, really? Yeah, dog.
Yeah. Oh, you can't. You couldn't hear it. Okay, you couldn't hear the other chat. Give me a second. Let me stop this screen and put it right back up. Then you should be able to hear it if anyone else comes up.
No, I couldn't hear the cat that you were speaking with.
Yeah, he was basically he was doubting that the borders in Africa weren't drawn by European powers. Even after we did like a really quick Google search to prove that it was, he still didn't believe it. And saying this.
But I think that kind of proves the whole point. Like you were saying earlier, we don't need to war with other people and all this other stuff. The thing is, I don't know. At what point do you see as much of a pattern that you can notice, and then say that this is the culture of this particular group? At what point? Because it seems that there's a lot of we are the worldism, and what it is you trying to deliver, and it's like the world don't operate like that when it comes to power differentials.
Yeah, exactly.
So yeah, you got up here. You said woke is good. What do you mean by woke? Woke like what?
I'm talking about the woke that we came up with. Awareness of social and racial injustice. Yeah, I mean that's what I'm talking about. Not the ones that that white conservatives came up with in recent years. You know, the DeSantis's and the Charlie Kirks. Not them. I'm talking about what we came up with.
Right. Wait. You said it stood for what though? Racial injustice and what?
Yeah. Recognition of racial injustice, racial and social injustice, particularly involving us, black people.
That's not what woke mean.
Well, all right. Well, what did it mean back in the 30s and 40s?
They wasn't using the term woke in the 30s and 40s.
What were they using?
Like that. That came out around the 70s, mid to late 70s.
I thought one of the original compositions you've heard of "Stay Woke" happened in the 30s. That's when it was first put on record, at least, and on a song. I forgot what the song name was. Okay, that's as far as what I heard. So it was being used as far back as then, if I'm not mistaken.
You didn't hear as much of a community sentiment though.
Oh, okay.
Until like around
the 70s.
Let's say it started late 70s, because that was when that type of ideology or perspective of having an awareness, you know what I'm saying, came up. But it was an awareness for us, not necessarily an awareness about racism or any of the potential systematic perils that was being pushed onto black people, but just an element of our reality, period, our experience, because it's too much that's happening. It's too much that's happening with us, to us, and through us for us to be asleep. You feel me? So I stay woke. It's not necessarily thing racial or nothing, or
But yeah, but you see that the way you explain that's how I'm understanding it, because everything that was happening with us was in fact racial, right?
No, because I would say it's more just anti-black. I don't think like you got up here, racism exists. I don't believe in racism. Mm-hmm. If racism was a thing, then everybody that was of the non-dominant groups, pigmentation or whatever, everybody would have something of a similar systematic engagement. You know what I'm saying? As far as the pitfalls, the pearls, the sabotage, and all of that. All people of non-whiteness don't encounter that. So we say race to mean, other than white. Mm-hmm. A whole lot of people other than white are having a very ideal American dream. They're able to have their communities in an integrity. They're able to have their families in an integrity. They don't have to fight sabotage like niggas got to all the fucking time.
Mhm.
So it's not a race thing. It's a us thing.
Okay, so you would say that the term is better to say systemic anti-blackness instead of systemic racism.
Oh yeah.
Okay, yeah, I don't have any beef with that. I think it's because I think the reason why systemic racism was coined is because it was happening to us, and where the like our existence in America is political. You know what I mean? So it's basically that's how it was phrased, and I think even now today when someone says systemic racism, they understand like we're talking about black people. You know what I mean? So it probably is more accurate to say systemic anti-black systemic anti-blackness, like you said. It probably is more accurate to say it that way.
By this time.
Yeah, by this time it is probably more accurate to say it that way. I'm not sure if racism against Hispanics and Asians exists the same way that it does against black people. I would say not for Asians, at least in employment, that doesn't exist for Asians.
No.
For Hispanics, it depends on what type of Hispanic. If you're a white passing Hispanic, then employment is not really going to bother you. But if you're a brown passing Hispanic, if you look more indigenous, like how the Mexicans look, it might, depending on where they are. So I do get it's more complicated.
That's also an individual perspective that you bring in. What about entrepreneurs? The system is not racist against entrepreneurial agents. It's not racist against entrepreneurial Hispanics. You can see them able to establish businesses very quickly, maintain them. Just like right now, I'm in Dallas, right? And I'm in North Dallas, and it's a whole lot of those Mexicans out here that I guess they're legal or whatever, but they'll post up at a car part store, be out there right in the parking lot. You know what I'm saying? Oil spots all over the place. The city see them doing that, knowing that shit's illegal, right? But then they'll stop niggas from doing the barbecue.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Just posting up, you know what I'm saying? You making plates and all that. These motherfuckers got whole body shops and shit or whatever right out here in the back of somebody else's, you know what I'm saying, business or whatever. Out in the open, and it's supposed to be illegal, right? No, this, not just this state, but this nation tends is like what Ice Cube presented, the contract with Black America. It's like everybody else got a contract with America in some form or fashion, and it's like we can't have that contract. We can't establish that contract. Most black people, some go along to get along type motherfuckers, but America got an issue with our thriving. America got an issue with our being able to achieve that dream. White America, particularly.
Yeah, I agree with that. I agree with that. That basically how that was set up. The country needs a permanent underclass, right? And they just chose black people to be that underclass, essentially. You know what I mean? So, and people who are more closer to white passing, they just leave them alone. They're not part of the underclass. I noticed that once, of course, when I lived in Texas for a few years. When you look at the social statistics, you see that the lighter a person is, the more chances that they're going to get. It's basically if you're closer to white, you're going to get more passes, just like how you were saying. Can you give me 1 second, Rogish? Give me one moment.
Do your thing, bro.
Hey, for the person over on the Black Atheist Coalition, I think the name is Jay. Hey, Jay. Again, you keep writing in the comments. I've already given you the link to join. Like as you see. There's someone right here on the live that joined in through the link, so you can join as well. Like I'm not sure what your problem is or why you just keep complaining in the comments. You can easily just join in. If you're watching me over on the Deconstruction Junction, once again, I appreciate you. Go ahead and click on that link if you disagree with anything I have to say. I do see a couple of comments over on the Deconstruction Junction. Once again, guys, you're asking me questions, but I don't see them. Like, just join in with the chat. Then I'll go ahead and be able to talk to you. especially Jaza over there saying I don't have a working brain. I can easily prove to you systemic racism. If you're watching me over on Volsi Thoughts, once again, I appreciate you. Go ahead and keep liking the live. Keep sharing it as well. I see the comments, but y'all, again, I'm not reading the comments all the time. Just come in and then we can have that discussion, please. I'm not sure what you're talking about, Frederick. Frederick over on here on the TikTok. You can also join in. Once again, guys, like y'all keep making comments, responding to what I'm saying, but I'm not seeing your comments. You're gonna have to go ahead and come on up and actually have the discussion with me if you would like to have to. All right, bro, Rogish. Rogish, I do appreciate you. I don't think there's a lot that we'll disagree with. Probably just come at it through different angles. You mind if I go ahead and let you down for now and
well, I had a question about your leftist policies idea.
Sure.
Why would leftist policies be better for society?
Yeah, I think they increase production, decrease our stress, and just increase our human well-being. Like things like single payer healthcare, guaranteed housing, universal education, etc. Those things, right? Okay. I think those are the baseline of what the government should do, and everything else we can do through self-determination. Usually, when I'm on the left, right, like I know it's not trusted by a lot of Black people because of what this government has done to us. I'm not asking the government to take care of us. I'm saying that these are the baseline that they should do for all of society, and then we determine our own social path, if that makes sense. Like, let me give an example. Like, let's say I would like for like universal pre-K to happen, right? If we have universal pre-K, that doesn't mean that a government agent is going to be running the pre-K in our area. That means, yeah, it's funded for everybody, but we're running our own pre-K centers. We're educating our kids the way that we want to educate them.
Bro, we've been doing that, and there was also those who was leftists in policy that also went against that. Again, it's that would go against the anti-Blackness that they got. That's why this whole left right. I don't understand where y'all see the difference in either party when it comes to their interaction with us as some constituency.
When you say
it's never,
party,
it's never the whole leftist and rightist.
Well, when you say, I'm sorry. When you say party, do you mean like Democrats and Republicans? Because I don't rock with them.
I'm talking whatever white person is presenting something that's supposed to be better for Black people. They never enact it. The leftist policies is bullshit. The rightist policies are bullshit. Neither one of them wants to see a higher qualitative Black community.
No,
neither one of them.
No, I agree with you in some ways, right? Because over on the left, white leftists have an issue of white supremacy as well, where our issues are seen as football. Like they can talk about all the stats and rally around Black Lives Matter and all that other good stuff, but it's more like football to them. They don't really actually care about it. You know what I mean? So I agree with you there. I'm not saying that's wrong.
So the thing is, where does the quality come from? How is it that this is a question my brother Thorough asked back in the day. Doesn't the messenger, it's not just the message, doesn't the messenger actually means a little bit more as well? Because it's the same messages from either side, right? I've been watching this shit for 40 fucking years. It don't matter what side they say they represent. They always have a marginalizing intention for the Black community, an exploitative intention toward Black culture. So it don't, left or right. I don't get it. Like what's your measurement behind this? Because it's throwing me that Black people still trust and fuck with the whole left and right thing with Donald Trump and that motherfucker with his nuts out. Like they didn't overturn some shit that the civil rights people fought for with nonviolence, right? So it's like, all right, all of that people fought for with nonviolence. People believe in the political system. You trust in this shit, and it looks past us as if we don't even exist, benign neglect and all that. How do you still trust in any of these policies that they're presenting? How do you think that what else can they present to you to believe that your participation with them is going to yield a different of a turn. I don't get it.
I mean, the current Democrats, they, in my opinion, they need to move much farther to the left than they were where they are now, because I believe they should be talking about the stuff that I'm talking about. You know what I mean? Like prison abolition, policing, healthcare, all that, right? The thing is, like, I get not trusting this current political system, because this current system.
Current?
Yeah.
You trusted the one before it?
No, I mean, the one before it is the one now. It's still the same one. That's what I mean. Like, what we have now, I get not trusting it. We just live in it, and we have to find a way to navigate. You see what I'm saying? So, like, that the reality of our situation is that we have to navigate the system that we have now. I'm not saying that to throw in all your trust behind white people saying that they're gonna help the black people out. That's not what I'm saying. I'm saying within our system now, because we have to navigate it, us as black people need to find some way to not only shore up our defenses, but show up electorally for our voices to be heard. You see what I'm saying? Because it's really the only way. It's really only, especially with your. I would say
electorally.
I mean, electorally doesn't necessarily mean nationally, right? It doesn't necessarily mean that. I mean, like in your local area, like, brother, you do things in your local area as well, right? Like, you help out, so you give back to your community locally.
I've done that. I've done all the community service and all of that.
Yeah, exactly. Same way.
What you need to understand is this is the issue. Black people don't want it from black people. Black people want it from this old hoe ass hating nigga nation. Black people ultimately want it from white people. If it comes from the government, black people will be receiving it from white people.
Okay, right? No, I get that part.
So the thing is, we have our own cultural dynamics and measurements of how to uplift ourselves, what will be good and enriching for ourselves. But we don't want our narrative of it. We want that pamphlet shit that they gave out to the rest of the world and told the rest of the world, hey, you can come here and be a successful American here by doing yada yada whoop de whoop, whatever.
Mm-hmm. No, I get that, right? So what I'm saying,
but also black people don't like to admit that we're used for batteries in this motherfucker. That is the intention of the political process.
No,
not
that
you
can
reposition yourself within that process that eats off of you, that utilizes you as fuel.
Rugish, I get it, right? Because it seems like you're leaning. No, I get it, because it seems like you're leaning into Afro pessimism, but hold up.
Afro pessimism.
That's what it sounds like. But like,
hold up. Wait a minute. Where does that come from? Afro pessimism? I'm
not sure if you read it, but yeah, Afro pessimism is basically the position or the ideological like philosophy that the world is inherently anti-black. There's nothing that we can do about it. You know what I mean? So
ain't nobody trying to do no about nobody's anti-blackness. But that's the whole thing. Those of y'all who play this political this politrick process with these evil demonic motherfuckers, right? And then they think that you can weasel your way in next to them motherfuckers and get some gain from a people who set up a fucking system to feed off of you. Now, this is the issue. This is the issue that black people got, and this is the issue that people who are defaultly connected to black people got. Y'all don't want to make a cultural acknowledgement of this. You still wish to view this in the position of portraying some fucking American that these Peckerwoods say that you do simply because you're here. And they culturally execute this. This is cultural. This ain't politics.
Right.
This is subjective with them. This is tribal with them. They utilize this nation tribally and subjectively against black people, no matter if they're the right or if they're the left.
No.
So how is it they showing all they ass now, and you niggas think you all still got some in? Well, you ain't nigga, but y'all still think y'all got some kind of in with it. You don't understand that they've changed the whole game, and what you're supposed to do is re-audible back to your own cultural standards like everybody else.
Right.
This is why foundational Black Americans having the issue that is having with everybody, because it's causing everybody to have to adjust their shit.
No, wait, Rogish, I get it, right. What I'm saying is that at the end of the day, this is the society that we live in, right? So we need to have a plan in order to navigate it. right? That's all I'm saying. We live in an anti-black society. We live in a political society.
How do you think we don't have plans to navigate? How do you think this?
Rogesh, I understand. You have a plan to navigate it, right? That's all we're discussing. How do we navigate this entire thing?
No. But that's the thing. You think that we're not navigating. We are navigating.
I didn't say that we're not.
We're encountering.
Rogesh, I need you to listen to me. I didn't say that we're not navigating. We're only discussing how that navigation happens. That's what we're all discussing.
You said a plan. You said to develop a plan to navigate.
Rogesh, listen, that's what I said, but that doesn't mean that we don't have one or we're not doing it. I'm saying that the ways in which we do it, that's what we're talking about. We're talking about we at the end of the day, you and I both agree that we live here now. So we have to navigate our society. So we need to plan on how we navigate the society. Now there's a way to do that.
See, this is the issue. This is the issue.
Notice
hold up. Notice how you're talking about.
Rogesh, you gotta let me talk, bro. You gotta let me talk, bro, because you keep interrupting. The reason I muted you because you gotta let me talk, man. You keep interrupting. Let's slow down and actually talk about what we're saying here. I'm not saying to trust Republicans, trust Democrats, trust white people. No one is saying that, bro. Like that's not the position I'm coming from. No one is saying that. That's the reason why I brought up, hey, you giving back to your community, correct? Yeah, and like let me give you an example of what I was just talking about, right? I'm part of an organization that gives back to my community. Like down in Miami, we had a whole free clinic and everything like that. That's something that we did within that community. What happened though is that when the city government recognizes some of these things, what are some of the things they do to block us? They either defund certain areas or defund a certain project or do eminent domain, et cetera, right? Now, if we have no one within these counseling or government positions in order to block all of that, we will continue to fall victim of it, right? Because one of the things that affects Black people is government policy. Like right or wrong, one of the things that affects us one of the most is government policy. So what are ways to navigate around government policy? Of course, us, each other, me and you together, or just the community, we find ways around that. But should we have a voice within at least local government in order to either block or navigate around it? I think we do.
No, because you got understand when you got a fucking enemy. I'm gonna tell you what I've been telling Black people since the fucking elementary, cuz. Understand when you got a fucking enemy. Understand when they're locking you out. Don't still keep trying to fight to be next to them. You do it no matter what. Once they feel like that they can break up whatever you create for yourself for your own sake, because you got the right to do that. Not as America. Fuck America. As a fucking earthling, you got that right because you are a people unto yourself. No. Understand when they don't want to eat with you, nigga. Understand and accept that, which a lot of you Black people, y'all got a problem accepting that. Understand when you understand and outright declare a people a fucking enemy who declare themselves to be an enemy, if there's an entity or whatever, and then you put your shit together. You don't try to see how you can fit it in their shit. If they want to destroy it, you acknowledge that they want to destroy it. If they don't want you to have a higher qualitative position in life, you acknowledge that. You don't keep trying to work with those people. You just work with what you can work with.
All right. So
what the fuck we need representation for? We already know exactly how they feel, exactly what they think, exactly what their intention is. There's no way that we need to keep going over this shit.
All right. So what is the so you're saying when it comes to at least government policy, there's literally nothing that we do. Like because I agree with you about shoring up our own defenses and working in between each other. I'm not saying that's not the case. I'm saying when it comes to the to places like a city hall or the councils or the school boards, what exactly happens? Because if we're not there, they're going to do everything in their power to make sure that we have as either not just less representation, but less resources as possible. An example that I'm gonna give, like for example, you say you live in Dallas, right? One of the Texas school boards over there, they put into the books that enslaved people were immigrants, right? Or workers,
indentured servants,
exactly.
Yeah.
Do you think that if there were any Black people on that school board, that would have happened or that would have passed?
This is the issue. There shouldn't have to be a black person present, bro.
They shouldn't have to be. No, I agree with you. They shouldn't have to be.
So
the fact that happened,
shows you the intention of the people as a culture.
Of course. Ragesh, try to get what I'm saying here.
I did. You asked me a question, I was answering. What's the problem?
What I'm saying is that if there were any black people on that board, do you think that would have happened? Especially if they were like us.
Hell yeah. Yeah, it still would have fucking happened. What the fuck make you think that black people are so loyal to being black when we ain't even established a cultural definition of what it means to be black? We're doing that now, or what it's supposed to mean to belong to being black. You damn skippy, that shit still would have passed. If there was some black people on there, but no, you disagree because you want an ideal narrative. You want to put this ideal narrative out there that, well, if we just got representation, then that's all that we need. And you know what I'm saying?
That's not all that we
we'll have ourselves represented. When you got black people who've been in their ranks, who've been down with these motherfuckers' agenda. This is why we say all skin folk ain't kinfolk.
Of course. No, of course. Like there would if some COON were to be on that board, yeah, that would have passed. I don't disagree with that, right? So
the majority of black people that you meet in those power positions, they are fucking coons. The majority of them, they value like white people.
Okay,
the majority of them had rather just be a white motherfucking version of themselves.
I do get that part. I do get that part. Or they use blackness more as a commodity in order to access these places and not an actual culture. I do get that part.
Yeah.
No, 100%. I get that part.
So then the ball gets right back in our court,
right,
as to what access to resources that we have.
Right. So
our cultural resources.
Right.
The fact that we could utilize ourselves as a litmus test and understand that, okay, you know what? None of this is the right navigation. You're talking about navigation. That old style of navigation ain't the way no more. The politics ain't the way no more. They didn't already shut all that down, but yet people still talking about after Trump. Ain't gonna be no after Trump.
And I agree with that. No, so agree that that's what I mean. If the majority of quote unquote black representation is using blackness more as a commodity in order to access white spaces and resources, and on the other side, on the grassroots, we not about that. Like I would agree with you, right? Where does how do we resolve the tension now? Because at the end of the day, since we live in this society, in your opinion, how exactly should that navigation happen if representation in government is not an important piece of it? What do you think should happen at that point?
The only thing you're left with is you, bruh.
No, I agree with us having interpersonal short. I call it short
3 words. I said 3 words because you let me finish.
Oh no, my bad. Because no, I'll say I mostly agree with you on shoring up our defenses and being together, making our own networks, etc., etc.
That's the only thing we got left, and then defend it when they come to motherfucking compete against or contend against it.
Okay.
Acknowledge that you have enemies here. Not that this group might think differently of us. No, black people just no different than when we were children and you read in the history books and you can identify who an enemy was of another people, right? Of something that happened in their culture. We have that. So let me ask you something, Volsi.
Sure.
If we were to declare our fucking enemies, who would you say is black people enemy in this motherfucker? How long you been in America? Who would you say done had a somewhat more black metric of measurement of respectable in pocketness to us?
Wait, I'm sorry, I must have missed your question. You said first question you asked was who is our enemy?
If black people got an enemy, because niggas got a whole problem acknowledging that.
Oh, white supremacists.
Who would no see, there you go. Right there. White supremacists, right? You said white supremacists. No, whiteness, because that's a power dynamic. It don't matter if they're supremacists, it don't matter if they're extreme or whatever, because the extreme ones they're just because whiteness is a power dynamic.
Okay, I get that part.
A lot of people try to receive it in that racial shit. Nah.
You're talking about
whiteness.
Whiteness, the concept of whiteness. No, I do get it. I do.
Okay, now ask yourself, when it comes to those who embody that, it ain't just the supremacists. It ain't just white people. There you go.
It's black people too.
It's black people. It's motherfucking Mexicans. It's Arabs. It's everybody here in America, cuz.
No, I got you. No, I agree with that, Rogish. Our enemy is that concept of whiteness. We colloquially call it white supremacy, but I get your language. That concept of whiteness, that's the enemy, and I think that's the enemy of black people. I think that's the enemy of even a lot of white people.
White people, yes,
that's the enemy of white people too. That concept of whiteness is the enemy of them too. You know what I mean? Because like what's his name, Lil Bill and FD Signifier, they said, white people, you're not white. You're Irish, you're German, you're English, you're Italian, you're Spanish. Whiteness is something that America created in order to flatten your culture and be against everybody else that has color. You know what I mean? So whiteness is your enemy. No, I get that part. I do understand that.
But that's the whole thing, though. That's how subtle it is. The extremists will get front page and center. But you will have those who are not extreme in their whiteness, but just as white, standing in a power dynamic, that classification. Ultimately, that's the issue. It ain't the racist that's the issue. It's the non-racist that's the issue, because they got larger numbers and they're the ones that grant the racists a soft pass.
Political football. Yeah, no, I get that. That's what MLK said too. The greatest threat to our progress is the white moderate. He said the same thing. Yeah. I think MLK said. I think Malcolm X said the same thing too. You know what I mean? Exactly. The white moderates.
So those right there are cultural dynamics. Yeah. Now we got to ask ourselves: do we embrace those cultural dynamics? Do we embrace? You know, what was it? Martin Luther King Jr. said, "I feel I may have integrated my people in the burning building
house." Yeah.
All right. So now you got to ask yourself. Basically, that was his way of saying, "I fucked up. Oops." Right. And the method in which the integration happened. Oops. You know what I'm saying? Nonviolence and we are the world and love.
Gotcha.
They just overturned something that shows that black people, it's time to be violent or have violent responses. I ain't saying to go after nobody, but if somebody come at you with the bullshit, no more nonviolence. You know it don't work no more. You know that it doesn't get you the lasting fucking result that you desire if we're going to be, you know what I'm saying, one and with these motherfuckers. All right, then, you know what I mean? Our reality is very, very strict. Our reality is very, very stern. There is so much more associated with us as opposed to just either dealing with racism, dealing with the wealth gap and all the rest of that shit. Look, our people's my people's fucking identity largely, it seems like it comes from whatever they're trying to connect with these motherfucking Peckerwoods. And these Peckerwoods don't have no intention for us to lawfully. And this is the whole thing too. Lawfully. Everybody that holler law. These motherfuckers bend the law when they want to. The law was fluid when they want it to be fluid.
Right. All right. Rigish, there is a question over on my TikTok. Ariel asked, what do you propose? Now, I think from what I'm hearing, what you propose is that our basically self-determination, like how the Panthers were doing, our own basically our own networks to teach ourselves, to feed ourselves, etc. A lot of our own networks. The only thing I would say is that I don't think those networks are too fleshed out yet. We can make them now though, because we have the technology. But what else would you propose if we're not going to be part of the or not going to put representation in our system? Because I do think that not having any representation at all is kind of dangerous for us. I do agree that the representation that we have right now is not very effective.
It's not effective. So what's the use of representation if it's not effective?
I got you, Rogish. I think you should, or someone like you should be in our representation, honestly. But right now, I agree with you that it's not effective. But I want you to answer the question that she had. What do you propose? What do you think is the best path forward? Go ahead. I don't want
that's the start. The latter part of what you said, to reestablish our roots, and we're kind of doing that now. There's an honesty. There's an honesty that I haven't seen in my people for a long time with this foundational Black American perspective. It's akin to that what you saw within the Black Power sector and Pan-Africanism. So the whole thing is, no matter what the fuck we call ourselves, no matter whatever, the fact is that we take that honest look and when we give that measurement from our own cultural standard of measuring what's supposed to be what for us. not taking it from this old hoe ass hating nigga system.
Mhm.
So first and foremost, you acknowledge reality, just like Matrix. You acknowledge reality for what it is, accept reality for what it is, and make note of what actually fucking is. If representation is already present and it's been present however long it's been, what is the measurement of us noting if there is an efficacy within that representation? And in that representation, you always see a laxing. You always see a fighting. The fact that, again, all of this is supposed to be lawful.
Mm-hmm.
You're already following all the fucking laws. Y'all go through the education. Y'all do everything that they tell you to do of how you're supposed to make it to navigate like every other so-called fucking we American, right?
Mm-hmm.
All right.
So this
it don't work. It don't work like that no more, cuz.
No, I got you, bro. I got you, Z. So here's what I would say, right? I agree that we need to create these networks, not just communication, but things around logistics, right? I think black people, especially black men, one of the things that we can do to be economically better in our society is to get into logistics, because there's a whole shortage of people to transport things. But if we take over logistics, what that would mean is that we have more connections in order to bring each other food, equipment, anything that's needed, because those truckers, they bring stuff everywhere. They're the blood of this country.
My brother's got his own truck.
Exactly.
He sold it, but
exactly. But we
hold
need more.
Hold on, it's my T-John call out.
I got you.
Get right back with you, brother.
Mm-hmm.
It's my mom's. Hold up.
Mm-hmm. All right, guys. He said he's gonna go ahead and take a call really quick. Ariel, if you want to come up and speak to him in a second, I'll let you come up. Slick, I think you also had a question for him. But I just want to ask as well. Did you want to talk about anything on the board, or disagree with anything on the board, or did you just want to have questions for Rogish? Let me take you off mute. Sorry about that, Slick. Your background was loud. That's the only reason I took you off mute. Go ahead, Slick.
I don't know if you can hear me.
I can hear you now. Go ahead.
I agree with everything on the board.
Yeah, you just had a few questions for Rogish.
Yeah, I mean, he seems to be just wanting to talk about segregation and violence. I mean, I don't know what the answer is, but I'm certainly an ally. I think what we're living through right now is crazy.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't know that those are the answers. I think that we have to, like you were saying earlier, work within the system.
Mm-hmm.
And we've got to figure out how we, the people, can make that happen. And it starts with holding our elected officials accountable.
Mm-hmm.
The reality is the majority of us don't vote.
Yeah, that is true. Here's what I would say, Slick. When it comes to segregation, right, the reason why I disagree as well with segregation is because under segregation, the white supremacists still hold the resources. You know what I mean? Now, does there need to be a degree of separation? Now, I don't have any beef with individual white people, right? No beef at all. But I do think there needs to be
My question would be, how do you separate, though? And I'm going to say this as a white lady from the South.
Mm-hmm.
I'm very disturbed by everything that's happening, and it's very hard to be where I am.
Mm-hmm.
But I also have a lot of connections to the Black community.
Mm-hmm.
And it's heartbreaking, but at the same time, when you discuss these things, how does that work for biracial children who are Black presenting?
Mm-hmm.
For the Hispanic community that is currently under attack.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I got you.
We've got to stand together as a country.
No, I get you, right, because I do think that the liberation of all oppressed people is something that we should all strive for. I don't disagree with that. When I say separation, I don't mean that in a Black neighborhood there's going to be a no whites allowed sign or something like that. No, I don't. That's crazy.
That's never been the case.
Right. I don't think that should be the case. What I mean by the degrees of separation, I just mean that there should be number one. I think there should be federal mandatory representation for Black people and Black interests. Right now, we don't have that, and that's going to be hard to do in our society. I think that needs to happen. I think there needs to be pointed Well, I'll just wrap it up and say one word: reparations. Yeah, I mean,
But
African Americans should
but
definitely get reparations.
if there's reparations, that's
100%
going to undo the intention of the sabotage. So you can't have that shit two ways. We're diametrically opposed, cuz. All right, and that's one thing that a lot of people don't want to acknowledge when it comes to us over here. We are diametrically opposed to white people and motherfucking America. And how long do we have to see the fucking pattern unto ourselves before we declare that from our own cultural dynamic? Fuck friends.
But that's not the reality of where we live, sir.
That's done. What do you mean that's not the reality? Based off of your measurement? Tell me about your black life that you live and how you've measured it.
Just based off of the fact that we all live together and we are all Americans and we all have been Americans for hundreds of years.
Stop it. Y'all try to sell everybody that pamphlet.
But you understand,
and you want people to believe in your dream. And you don't even respect their fucking history. As a culture, you don't respect the history, and as a culture, you don't respect the sabotage that the people got to fight trying to be a part of your dream.
Pause me real quick. All right, Slick, you do understand that even though on paper we're all American, when it comes to people like myself, when it comes to people like Rogeesh, when it comes to people like Ariel in the comments, we've never been considered proper Americans. Like,
100% agree with that, and 100% think that we have to fix that, and we have an opportunity now. I mean, it's a terrible opportunity. It's terrible that we are where we are, but we do have an opportunity to rebuild our country, to, reach for those aspirations that we've all had.
And I think where Rogeesh is coming from is that the concept of America itself was always meant to be against black people. Is that where you're coming from, Rogeesh?
Of course. Well, I mean, look, this is the thing, man. I came here ignorant of all of this, right? Just saying, ignorant. I'm from North Tulsa, though. North Tulsa got a hell of a history on it.
I'm close to you.
It's not a good first impression. So to be ignorant and thrust into the understanding through that, all you have to do is see if you still see any of that intention unto the group still present. Not if they're doing it like that, but do you still see any of that intention to cause somewhat of that element of harm, displacement?
We see it every day.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, of course.
Okay. So now I declared that, you know what, this place must be feeding off of us still then. Even though we ain't slaves, they done found a way, you know what, we just got to keep them broken up, whatever, because we can still gain more from them from having some this united family or culture. So I figured that's what it would have been in slavery. 100 years later, and I was born. All right then, or 150, 120
just
years later.
As long as I can join.
And then it was like,
I don't want to be a part of this.
Wait, hold up. 100 years later, and you see that same intention. This was before crack. Then they put crack in your shit. Everybody hollering the government. Oh, it's this government then. All right, it's this government again. All right, then the same government that we pledge a fucking allegiance to every day. That same one, cuz? Yes. Okay. At what point do you think we supposed to believe in this? We watch these motherfuckers be able to be demonic to us through this government and through their culture. We still supposed to think we're supposed to gain some type of positioning with them.
I agree with you 100%.
I understand that, Rogeesh. So basically, let's forget all about getting. So your position is that let's not worry anything about getting any representation in governments, whether it comes from the federal or even the local. Let's just work together to survive within the system and defend ourselves against the enemies that are going to come at us because we're surviving outside of their political system.
I'm saying do not see that as a primary avenue. And so many black people utilize that as a primary avenue. I ain't saying you can't utilize it as some form of a tool, but motherfuckers identify through their parties. They identify through their connections and representation, or become mascots unto this motherfucker. Again, if a government is able to do some motherfucking warfare, chemical warfare against its own fucking citizens and experiments and all this shit, what kind of government is that? That ain't my government. That's why I said since the age of a kid, the same way that in our neighborhood we tell you fuck you and your mama when we knew it was on. Yeah, because culturally that was a fight. I think I said fuck America and its mama and its deity in the fucking third grade, realizing that they the one that intentionally still was disrupting our shit.
Gotcha.
And my people ain't the kind of people that want revenge when they should be.
Mhm.
My people ain't the kind of people that want some get back when they should be.
They should be. Okay, I
When they
got you.
should be.
So Rageesh, I think we're on the same wavelength here, because I agree with you that shouldn't be the primary. We should be we should be more talking with each other. And I do these because like the secondary way is, yeah, we may need government representation, and this is what the government should be doing for all of its citizens, right? But primarily, we should be worried about each other and what we do together. I agree with that. I don't disagree with you at all.
Yeah, but we can do that and culturally still view this motherfucker as enemious to us, if not adversarial.
Adversarial to us. Yeah, no, I don't disagree. I don't think the United States government and its current form right now has how it's been for the past 200 years is pro-black in any sense. Even when Obama was president. Ariel, how's it going, Ariel? I appreciate you. I think Rogesh said he's going to be right back real quick. But what did you have to say? And I guess you can repeat it whenever he gets back. Go ahead.
Yeah, no, he kind of cleared it up a little bit just now. I wasn't here when he first came up. So I kind of was having the same question as you. I was just trying to figure out what his summary was. Like, what are you saying, to have our own system and defend it with violence, when and if they come and try to take it like they have before, obviously. But yeah, I was just trying to get like a brief summary of what exactly he was proposing, because if we're still going to be here, we can separate all we want to, but like you said, then the control is still in their pockets. They still have the access to everything that we would need, and then that's exactly what's going to happen. We're going to end up having to resort to violence, which I don't disagree with, because that's usually how they come. But I also think, to what limit? Because if we're fighting for something that we want to exist in, dying ain't gonna help us either. So like, to what extent are we doing that?
No, see where you're coming from, because that's what I was struggling with as well. Like, where are we what's gonna happen next? Where are we going with this? What's gonna be the next way to go? Because of course, we have to basically survive in the system. We're going to need to do something, and it can't just be, we're just gonna be in our backyards or some shit. That we gotta do something more than that. So I'm glad he cleared that up. It's a secondary tool, and the primary tool is us with each other. Liam, yeah, you can go ahead and come on up, Liam. I'm
gonna even say it's secondary tool. No, it ain't even secondary.
I think it's tertiary or fourth, or just a tool.
Quadrant. Shit. It's look. This government is not supposed to matter. The whole issue. This is the whole issue, y'all. In the way that white people matter in our reality, they're not supposed to matter in our reality. In the way that this government matter in our reality, it ain't supposed to matter in our reality. We have the innovation, the creativity to create anything for ourselves, and that's been one of the whole issues, of this government and these people and to us. It's because we have that ability. And that's why I want to break it up. You know what I'm saying?
I got you, Rogesh. What's crazy, Rogesh?
So the thing is,
I'm sorry, go ahead.
So the thing is, what we have to do, again, the whole anti-blackness of it. When I say anti-black, I'm talking America, nigga. A murder with these murder clans folk. I ain't never received this in a way that they said, this is the way it is. Fuck that. You murderers. Motherfucking genociders. And the genociders going to try to tell me how I'm going to operate within law. You know what I'm saying? In humane standards and shit, denying their own history and denying their motherfucking. Come on,
definitely.
Nah, you don't. First off, I'm a fucking field nigga. Y'all talking all this racism and black shit. I ain't just black. I'm a fucking field nigga.
Yeah.
Feel me? I was born here to burn all this shit down. We can't have what's ours. You can't keep what's yours. Fuck that.
What's crazy, Rogesh, when you said that they shouldn't matter in our reality. I actually have come up with an entire plan of creating a shadow government for black people, but that's a whole nother thing.
Not bad.
Yeah, if you look at my I wish we could talk more. Probably we'll talk more on Discord. But like I have a whole doc. I gotta go find it. But I have a whole document on how black people can have our own government while existing in the system. But that probably gonna get me put on a few lists. I ain't gonna lie. But hey, Rogesh, I do have another guest, but I do appreciate you always. Definitely come back, because there is going to be a time where we talk more about black issues. You brought up foundational Black American before. Now I'm Haitian, right? And this entire thing of the beef between Black Americans, continental Africans, and Caribbean people, it's
not a beef.
Me is ridiculous. I know you don't have any beef. I'm talking about like what we see online of them going back and forth, cussing each other out, making slurs to each other.
That's a response. That's not a beef. That's a response. Those of the diaspora, they spoke up at a time when the bulk of Black people doing that analysis was already ignorant of their identity. They'd never taken a look. So it was like doing a shadow class of surgery, shadow work surgery or something in the open. Nobody from the diaspora should have said nothing to those Black people that was taking that look at themselves, that they never took that look. And then the whole world show up and tell us, fuck you. In our motherfucking dialect, cuz.
No, you see,
niggas supposed to take that.
You see, analyzing blackness in the American sphere, right? I don't think that was ever the issue. The first time I ran into FBA, it was just someone calling me the enemy or a tether or et cetera, simply because I'm Haitian. You know what I mean? Like that part right there, like those bad actors. Unfortunately, they became. I think what happened, right? I've always said this is my Liam. Let me get you in a second. I've always said this is my theory. What happened is that people see different sides of the algorithm, because the side of the algorithm that I was seeing was exactly what I explained. But for other folks who are going into the FBA conversation, they were seeing exactly what you're saying, right? So now, because we have two different sides of the algorithm, we're all now arguing with each other our reality.
I'm talking before the algorithm, bro. I'm talking before the algorithm, when FBA was really new, and I thought it was a hater group because I figured it went against ADOS. And I was like, all right, I ain't down with no fight for reparation at all. I don't think Peckerwood's going to ever do it. You know, we create our own reparation, whatever. If they give the loot, they give the loot. It is what it is. But all right, yeah, I don't down Black people who go about it. But the whole thing was they took that lineage look. And Black people had never really taken a lineage look like that as en masse. And that was the moment when it happened. And then, you know, have people telling you, all right, you ain't got no culture. Y'all ain't from where you say you're from. It's like, wait a minute, y'all know who y'all telling this to? Y'all telling us the people who was completely ignorant at first. And now they got to see you fighting them, taking this look. It's like, it's no different from dealing with these Peckerwoods. You know what I'm saying? These motherfuckers hate us taking a look at ourselves and seeing, you know what I'm saying, something great, establishing that.
Of course. You know? No, I do agree with that, right? Like, in me, the way that I grew up, I always thought African Americans had their own unique culture anyway. So when I first saw, like, when people said that to me, right, I was like, that was already the case, wasn't it? Like, I was kind of confused at first. I was like, that's already a case. Y'all were already, like, had your own, like, culture and greatness and everything like that, and I thought y'all knew it already. So that's where I when I first heard about it, that's why I was confused. I'm like, don't y'all already have that? You know what I mean? So
Black
like,
people try to be Black for America. They don't try to be Black for themselves.
I got you. Hey, but I do gotta go ahead and talk to
I'm a mash out though. Yeah. I appreciate the sharpening, and y'all be well.
Yeah, you too. Appreciate you. Ooh, what's a slur for TikTok purposes?
Pecker, WOOD.
Oh, I didn't realize. My bad. Sorry about that. About that, guys. I know people get Actually, no, that is a slur, isn't it? That's a slur.
Yeah, it didn't offend me personally, but it is a slur. It will.
Yeah, that is a slur. That is a slur. All right, yeah, I gotta be more careful. My bad, y'all. But I appreciate that. My bad, y'all. I gotta be more careful. That was a slur. Liam, we're gonna go ahead and get to you in a second. You might just give me one moment. I do see you have a cross in your profile, so you may want to talk about 4 and 5. Not a problem. Let me just go ahead and shout out some folks out real quick. I'll get right to you. All right, y'all. If you're watching me from Volsy Thoughts, I appreciate you. Thank you for the person who just subscribed. Thank y'all so much. Go ahead and click on that link. As you see, we had someone else up here. So if you're in the Volsy Thought chat, you can go ahead and click on, go to tiny.cc/Volsy live, and you'll be able to go ahead and come and talk to me. Same thing if you're over on the Black Atheist Coalition. I appreciate you being on the Black Atheist Coalition, Volsy live, tiny.cc/Volsy live, and for the Deconstruction Junction, once again, tiny.cc/Volsy live. I appreciate you. If you're watching me from Instagram, it'll be the same link, tiny.cc/Volsy live, and you'll be able to come up and speak with me. And same thing if you're watching me over on Twitch or Facebook. All right, guys, we're going to go ahead and get right back to the conversation. Liam, how's it going, Liam? Are you at least 18? And which number did you want to talk about?
What's up, Volsi? I'm 23. I actually want to talk about one, but I seen in the comments Ariel wanted to say something, so I'm going to let her.
Oh yeah, well I thought you were about to change it to like religion. I wanted to say something about what the last guest was talking about because I thought you were going to change the subject, but I can wait if you're talking about number one.
All right, cool.
Yeah, because I'm just like, what do you mean by the word woke? Because I've heard this word used in different time periods and different references. I'm not really too sure what it means nowadays. Dude, how do you define it?
Awareness of racial and social injustice against Black people.
Okay. I mean, I don't really disagree. I mean, I agree there is a stigma against Black folks in America for sure.
Mm-hmm.
And it does apply to not just like Black Americans, but even like Caribbeans who come to America or even Africans who come to America. It's real. I don't really disagree with that, to be honest.
All right.
Let me see. All right, leftist policy. So like what leftist policies would you be referring to then?
I'll be referring to things such as single payer, guaranteed housing, universal education. That means pre-K all the way up into college. I would also add things such as minimum wage tied to your area and fixed to inflation and production. Things like that. For us to get rid of homelessness and what else? Parental leave as well. I think every new parent should get at least 3 to 4 months of parental leave to bond with their children, especially mothers especially mothers, of course, but fathers as well, because fathers bonding with their children also increases that child's well-being emotionally, not just physically or financially, but emotionally. Being close to a father raises their well-being. So those type of things I think we should be striving for. And in America, they're considered leftist, but everywhere else, they're just considered normal.
Yeah, honestly, I actually agree with those, especially like as far as helping the homeless. I think that's something people kind of look past a lot because a lot of them just need opportunities, just some attention and just a chance to like kind of be autonomous. So I don't really disagree with those at all, man.
Yeah. Cool.
Dang, I mean, honestly, bro, half of these we probably agree with except like 4 and 5, to be honest.
So 4 and 5, no, we can talk about 4 and 5 if you would like. Did you want Ariel to say what she was gonna say first before we go move on to 4 and 5?
Yeah, sure.
Go ahead, Ariel.
Yeah, it was more so a question for the last guest. I think we kind of were in agreement, me and you with him, about maybe not making that the first priority, the law. But I always have a question when people are very anti that in general, anti the system, because I think people not discount. I think we're not a thought a lot of times. The people that exist like me, who would have the access that he's talking about, that would be able to get into the system, but aren't trying to have that proximity to whiteness that he's talking about. Because what you were saying about, there are Black people already that are in there, but they don't necessarily represent what we're trying to get done. Because that's not their point. They only get to those positions because they tap dance for the people around them. But yeah, that's what my degree is in, is education in general, because we were talking about school boards. So anyways, I kind of just wanted to ask him about that, or anybody else in the comments that was kind of agreeing with what he was saying, because I'm not in disagreement. I kind of just want to know if that's something they ever think about, the people that don't exist in one space or another, like that are able to recognize the privilege that I didn't ask for, but know that I have, but also that are on the same wavelength and the same thought process as him. Like, do we just completely ignore it, or do we try to utilize the people that we can and make it a bigger concern? Because I agreed when you said, like make it second, but then he was like, no, make it 17th. Like, yeah, but we live here and we do live under that system. So I don't think it's a good idea to just maybe
just a completely ignore
later.
it.
Yeah, maybe later once we've established some things, but I don't think we can just blindly ignore the system that we live under, whether we like it or not.
Yeah, I agree. All right, cool. Let's talk about 4 and 5. All right, Liam. I don't think there's any good evidence for a God, and I think faith is unreliable for finding the truth. Do you disagree with those statements?
Yeah, I'd say 4. I disagree with.
All right, cool. What good evidence do you think there is for a God?
For me personally, I think just the unexplanatory reality we live in, and to make it more simple, like just how complex, the world, the way the world works, how people work with each other, and how just society has advanced. I feel like all these things are like some giant mystery that I think points to some divine mind, in my opinion.
You're talking about like the way nature is. That do you think that points to something that's divine? Why do you think that points something that's divine and not simply that the world is simply a natural consequence of chemistry and physics acting upon each other? I don't see why it would have to be necessarily some sort of divine mind behind it.
Well, because here's the thing, I'm Orthodox and I don't necessarily disagree with evolution, right? I actually can affirm evolution in many senses.
Mm-hmm.
I do think that the way, like, the cells and bacteria, plants, like I think all that points to like a sense of purpose. I don't think it just kind of was an accident, really.
Mm-hmm.
I think it's a little less rational to think, I do think it's less rational to think that it just all happened by accident with no purpose. You know what I mean?
Well, it doesn't necessarily mean have to be a purpose. It doesn't have to be a divine purpose. Well, the purpose is just survival.
Well, I don't think it's like you wouldn't say that the bees pollinate the plants and then them making honey and then us and other animals being able to consume that honey. I don't think like the way that came to be was just by accident. Like I feel like there's a purpose behind why bees exist, why they do certain functions, why the human body, the animal body can tolerate honey, why honey doesn't expire, like stuff like that. I feel like the way that everything webs together, I think they're just it points more likely to a purpose behind it rather than just an accident.
I mean, I wouldn't call it like just an accident. It's like what you said before already is, evolution. But when you said that it points to some sort of purpose, the question would be like, what do you think that purpose is? Number one, and number two, what would be the entire point? And who's giving the purpose and how you know that thing exists? There's a lot of questions you have to ask after that. If you're just going to say that it's a purpose behind it, there's multiple problems and questions after that. You see what I mean? So what would the purpose be? And how do you know something is even giving it a purpose? What do we do to ascertain these things?
Well, because if you look at it, like everything has a beginning, right? We can't conceive of something that just like spawns like in Minecraft, right? Like you don't just type a command and then just boom, you have like a plant in front of you, right?
That's not true. Because do you think God had a beginning?
Well, I'm questioning this outside of like we're trying to point to a God. I'm not necessarily saying that God is in this case. I'm just talking about the natural order, like the created things first.
Yeah, so like, I'm just talking about the statement you said we can't conceptualize that something just spawned. But yes, you can, because you do it with God. So when we do that with the universe, it's like a foreign concept to y'all, but you do the same thing.
Well, here's the thing. I'm not trying to necessarily like argue my point of view versus your point of view yet. I'm more so just saying, I'm just trying to like find the middle ground with you guys. So like, you guys can agree, obviously, that everything has a beginning, right?
No.
You guys might, excuse me?
No, that's why I jumped in, because you don't think that either. You don't think God had a beginning.
Well, we're talking about the created order. I mean, God's not a creature, so it wouldn't be in this, like, topic.
When you said the
necessarily,
created
yeah.
order, that kind of implies that a God that had no beginning exists anyway. Yeah, I mean, so when you say because as in once you say created order, now you're implying that a God exists, and we can't show that to be true yet. But when you say everything had a beginning, from what I can kind of ascertain and understand about our universe, nothing really has a true beginning. Everything was made out of prior material. You see what I'm saying? So it's like when you say beginning, I would say you will have to go all the way back into the Big Bang, and even that came from a hot dense state that we can't really explain with our current physics, right? So it's really what do we get to when we say everything had a beginning? Even if we were to say, yeah, sure, everything had a beginning, are you going to say that every beginning has those things have a cause, and you think that the cause of all of existence is therefore God?
Well, I'm more so saying if there's a cause for all things that we can conceive of, right? Whether it's like a physical thing or even metaphysics, right? If there's gonna be a cause for all that is caused, there must be necessarily, like, just logically speaking, an uncaused cause. Because you people, or Ariel might say, like the universe is
crazy.
I didn't mean it like that. Nah, chill. I said it and I hesitated.
We mess with you.
Chill on me, yo. I didn't mean like that. But what like Ariel was saying, like she would say like the universe, which I'm sure Volsi, you might agree, or maybe other people in this panel might agree, the universe would be the uncaused cause of all things that come to be. But if you're gonna agree that the universe is that case, and I would say that it's God, then more so what we're really debating is which one makes more sense, the universe being the uncaused cause, or a divine mind or a God being the uncaused cause.
The universe being uncaused?
Correct. Because if you're going to be consistent, right, and say that all things that are created that we can touch, or even things that we conceive like metaphysics, has a beginning, then you also have to concede, or at least grant, that the first beginning didn't have a beginning in itself. So, i.e., for you guys, it would be the universe. You would say the universe didn't have a beginning. It had no beginning, yet it brought beginning to everything else, if that makes sense.
I'm a little confused.
Everything else would be the natural consequence, basically. But I understand what you're saying. But then if I push back on you and say, we don't even know if the universe was the uncaused cause. What caused the universe? Like, it's just a very, I don't know why it matters that much. I do enjoy the conversation, but yeah, that's the only point I was making. We're gonna go all the way back to uncaused cause, and you're gonna say that uncaused cause was a God. But
right, because on the contrary, if we say that even the universe had a beginning, then like it would just lead to infinite regress at that point. It would just be that this caused that, and then that caused that. We don't know what it is, but it just goes on infinitely. We will never be able to conceive it, right?
Mm-hmm.
Correct.
But I don't think that's really rational. I don't think that's something that we can even say as humans, and even say if we look at how things work. I don't think we could say that it's just some infinite causes throughout time, and then all of a sudden we have the earth, we have nature, we have human society, thought, reason. I don't think that would be reasonable.
But I don't think that's true, especially if you're granting evolution, especially if you're agreeing with that. I don't think that's true.
Well, I can say I believe in evolution because I believe that there was a cause for evolution, right? Like I could say that in my case, God started the way of the natural order to evolve over time, and for species to adapt, and for different creatures to adjust to certain areas. I can say that, but in your case, right, like looking from the outside in, you're more so, like, I'm not trying to assume your position, but you're more so going on along the lines with that it's just an accident. Like things started, but it was just by accident and random, molecules bumping to the next one, and then them adapting.
It's a natural consequence, right? Because they're doing the same thing. You're just assuming that God put it there for it to do that on purpose.
Yeah, I mean, I just think that's just good evidence, in my opinion, for God.
It really isn't.
Sorry, go ahead.
But it really isn't, because we just have everything that we're seeing in our universe being a natural consequence of physics and chemistry, right? But how does that point to a God then? It's just what physics and chemistry does, at least in our universe. We haven't explored another one at least yet, but that's just what it does. And if you're going to say that the reason for why it does what it does is because of a God, how are you making that leap? You're simply saying that because of the effects or the consequences of what we see, therefore God. It's kind of a hard leap to make.
Yeah, I mean, I can see what you mean by a hard leap. I think a better way for me to put it would be the way everything is just so perfectly put together. It doesn't make sense to think that there's not a purpose. Like I just feel like me personally, I'm not making some formal argument. I'm just speaking from my personal view. You know what I mean?
No, we understand.
Like thank you, bro.
I mean, the thing is, for me, the way I'm seeing it, I don't think it is perfect, but I think Ariel wanted to say something. Go ahead, Ariel.
Yeah, I was just saying the same thing. Like it's literally not. Like we have so many issues, and the earth on this motherfucker, because we have innovated houses and forms of travel and medicine and all kinds of shit that we had to come up with just to stay alive on this earth. And not only that, our own bodies constantly betray us. It's not perfect.
Well, I'd say it was perfect until humans kind of made poor choices over time, right? I think societies evolved to the point where they obtained knowledge and they wanted to have more control over things, right? And that's why you see like capitalism in America, where they're destroying trees and nature, putting homeless people on the streets while building expensive apartments. You know, people just kind of get greedy over time. I don't think that would just mean that everything is imperfect. I think things are perfect, but humans started to use that perfection and make bad out of it. I think it's human error why things are the way they are, not really just nature itself.
Can hold on? Can I? I'm sorry. Just before you go, I mean, you're saying that things were perfect until humans kind of screwed it up. But when were things ever perfect? What evidence do we have to show that that's the case? Was that going to be your question as well, Ariel?
Yeah, because the things that I'm talking about, like medicine and things like that, we had to develop those things because it wasn't perfect. I was literally going to ask you, at what point in the evolutionary process was it perfect? And then we fucked it up.
I'd say like the Enlightenment period was like the beginning of the end, right? Because if you just look at it historically, prior to the Enlightenment period, I mean, obviously we had like brutal things like the Roman Empire, right? But then after the Roman Empire, we had the Byzantine Empire, which in my opinion, I think was the best empire or civilization humanity has ever achieved, in my personal opinion. Just off how much advancements they made, how much good they brought to the world, that's just my opinion. But once we had the Enlightenment period and we had people getting into mathematics, deep philosophy, scholasticism, that's when I think it got bad, because humans obtained knowledge that they just couldn't handle and that they used for bad and for their own gains. And I think that is kind of like the tipping point, in my opinion, like 14th, 13th century.
Right. But that's not addressing what we're asking about. Like, I'm asking about the human body and like the way that we can't drink 90% of the water on the face of the earth. We have to come up with filtration systems. I'm talking about that kind of stuff. You're talking about obtaining knowledge and, humans you're talking about societies. I'm talking about evolutionary and the body. When was it perfect? Like, when did it become, now we get cancer? Now you can choke through the same hole you eat in. Like, now your brain has to ignore your eyes because it'll attack that system and make you go blind. Like, when was it perfect?
Well, I mean, I wouldn't know when humans were able to drink salt water. Personally, I'm not too sure when that was ever a stage. I could still argue that even the fact we can't drink salt water and the fact that, you could, choke and just there's certain handicaps to the human body, I think that's still perfect, in my opinion, having limits, because it kind of forces you to adapt, in my opinion. That's just how I view it, though. But I see my time's running out, though, so I don't want to drag this on too long. You know what I mean?
No, that's fine. We can keep going. My question would be, is because you said that basically the Byzantine Empire was the height of human civilization, but the problem is is that the Byzantine Empire didn't include all humans. I mean, there are the people everywhere else. So, like, I want to call that the height of human potential and civilization. But then you sit around the Enlightenment era. But between the Byzantine Empire and the Enlightenment era is like 1,000 years that we call the Middle Ages, right? Mm-hmm. Now, the Middle Ages did have advancements in mathematics and stuff like that. But we also know this was running around a time of feudalism in mm-hmm. Europe, as a matter of fact, in the Qin dynasty over in China. Or I might be wrong about that. I don't think that dynasty exists in medieval China. It might be another one. But in Africa, we had whole other societies, right? So it's like what you're saying, I'm giving you benefit of the doubt. I don't think it's on purpose, but it's extremely Eurocentric. You understand that there was history outside of that. So what do the rest of us humans have to do with whatever the dudes were doing in the Enlightenment? Like Mansa Musa wasn't part of that. So what was... I mean, that doesn't really account for the rest of the planet. It's very, very Eurocentric.
Well, I would say why I made a comment that the Byzantine Empire was peak human civilization is just like, I mean, the influence it has on like what we see today, I think is just astronomical, right? The first hospital was from Basil the Great. It was, I mean, the saint in my church, but to you guys, just he would just be known as like a 4th century Greek scholar who invented the first building or medical residence where the needy could come, have their injuries healed or have medicine given to them, and the government would take care of it pretty much. I think one of those, like that as an example, is like just the peak human advancements, in my opinion. And then not to mention, what else was in the Byzantine Empire? How the way the government and the church, they were balanced in the sense that the government submitted to the church and the church let the government do their own government things. I think that was a perfect balance rather than like a separation church and state. I think that, in my opinion, was perfect for society because morality was in a way that wasn't, just subjective and kind of devolving to different things. And also people were taken care of, like the homeless were taken care of. The people in need were taken care of. Those who were, causing issues, they were, gotten rid of. They were just either put in jail, unalivement penalty, or they were exiled. I think, in my opinion, that was the perfect system.
Did societies outside of the Byzantine Empire have hospitals, law, and taking care of homeless?
From what I could tell, as far as like, if you look at like the Roman Empire, if you look at, I'm not too familiar with like East or South or even West African like nations or dynasties, to be honest. All I'm aware of is like North Africa when they had I can't remember the name of some of the clans, but they had their like little tribal clans like that were dominant in the North African region.
Yeah, the Tuaregs.
I don't think
I
don't think they really had hospitals though, to be honest, at least from what I could tell.
How about it? Medieval China, the Indus Valley Civilization, the Incas, you think none of them had hospitals?
Well, medieval China is like post like 7th century though, am I not mistaken?
No, it's around the same time as the Byzantines.
What are you dating?
Well, the Middle Ages would be actually the end of the Byzantines. Well, actually, no, I'm sorry. The Middle Ages, at least in Europe, are the end of the Western Roman Empire, and from the Byzantines all the way up until the Industrial Revolution, but or at least the Enlightenment era. But I would say in between that time, those 1,000 years in between that time, China had hospitals, and so did the Western Africans, and so did the Indians.
Around the 4th century?
Yeah.
I would have to look into that. I guess I misdid my research because from what I could tell, 4th century first hospital was given to Basil the Great.
You said the 4th century, right?
Yes.
Well, not public hospitals in the modern sense that we have today. So you're probably correct about that. Not the modern hospitals that we see, but when you say hospitals, what do you mean by that? Like You still there, Liam? There you
Yeah,
go.
sorry. I mean, I mean like public hospitals, like things for like the people to come into.
Oh, like the invention of public hospitals.
Correct.
I think the African societies already had like sort of a system like that already existed. It just wasn't isn't not something that we would recognize as, you know, the modern public hospital. But yeah, you can go into a certain part of the not just the village, but like a certain part of the city and see a healer. Yeah, they had that publicly for everybody in the society. It's just not something that they wrote down or because it was kind of intuitive, you know?
Yeah, I mean, if you're referring to like, I mean, like the unk that just took care of folks in the tribe, like, yeah, of course, I would assume they had that in like most societies, but I'm more referring to like a building because like Basil, because he came from a wealthy family, so he was able to use that money to build these buildings that were used purely for medical care on a broad scale. Because obviously, the Byzantine Empire is a large empire. It's the Roman Empire before they converted, or after they converted, I mean. And, obviously it was a large amount of people in the East. So what they did was they used that money to make large buildings in order to take care of the public. I think that would be like
okay. No, I see what you mean. I get what you mean. I get what you're coming from there. Nah, yeah, I get what you're saying. That was created by Basil the Great. Yeah, sure. Now that innovation happening there, do you think that's because that's, I don't know, man, I'm just having difficulty like kind of reconciling this because it's like societies existed outside of the Byzantines. You know what I mean? So I'm just like, I'm not gonna make that. Hey, appreciate that. I'm not gonna say that's the peak of human civilization. Yeah, I mean, there was societies outside of that. We just don't really study them as much because we live in the West. You see what I mean?
Yeah, I see what you mean. I guess I was more arguing like that's an example of just the mass influence the Byzantine Empire had on just the world we see today. Like, I mean, every country has a public hospital. Like, there's no country outside of severe third world, that doesn't have one. So I think that was a good example of just when I say let me correct myself. When I say peak human civilization, I don't mean like peak and then it just got worse after. I mean, as in we made major advancements that are influenced today. That's kind of what I was kind of getting at.
And I don't think we've regressed. I think we've still been able to advance, right?
Yeah, exactly. And that's why I correct myself. I mean, we've obviously advanced since 4th century for sure. I mean, I think technology was a great thing.
Right. Okay, cool. Gotcha. We've kind of gotten off track on what we were talking about before. I don't remember what we were talking about before we got into the Byzantine Empire. Have no idea.
Go to your really quick. Sorry, go to your where you have that goal set and add a different gift because that's just heart means and we can only send one.
Oh, okay, gotcha. That's what y'all mean. I didn't know we could. You can only send
you
one
can put
heartbeat.
3. Yeah, the heart means they only let us send one, but you can put 3 different gifts.
Okay, gotcha. I'm doing that right now. Well, I'm on my computer. I'm gonna try to set it. So I'm gonna put I'll put this one, and let me add some more as well. All right.
Wait, y'all, something came up. I'm actually at work right now. I do have to go. Not gonna lie.
Not a problem. Hey, appreciate you. Go ahead, come back in anytime.
I appreciate you, man. Thanks for having me up, yo. Thank you.
Not a problem.
Peace out, Ariel.
Bye.
All right, guys. Once again, I appreciate y'all. Thank y'all so much for the gift. I'm setting up a new gift goal right now. We hitting those gift goals, y'all. I appreciate that so much. Thank y'all so much for helping me hit those gift goals. And like I said, if y'all would like to talk about what I have on the board, it's still open. You guys can go ahead and come on up. But let me put this dolphin in. I like the little dolphin thingy. I'll go ahead and put that dolphin in. All right, y'all. New gift goal. Oh, make it 1,000. I should make it 1,000, shouldn't I? I should make it 1,000. Let me edit this. Give me a second. Give me 1 second. I'll make it 1,000.
That's what I do. I usually put like a penny goal, like roses or something, and then I'll do one that's like 99 cents, and I'll do like 5 of those, and then I'll put one big, like a money gun or something.
Yeah,
Just so people have options.
No, that's a good idea. I'm on my computer though. I don't know why I can't put more. I should go ahead and start putting more. But yeah, all right, cool. So I have another gift goal up, y'all. We're just gonna go ahead and keep on waiting. Ariel, appreciate you. You know the cookout is in 2 weeks, right?
I know. I was telling Bart. I think it's because I'm not in the Discord or like the group chat. I was saying I don't know like how many days everybody's supposed to be there. I wanted to know like where everybody was staying, or if everybody was just kind of separately doing their own thing. But it's still enough time. I was thinking it was on like the 4th. I don't know why, but it's still enough time. I might try to put something together. I just need to get in the chat so I can kind of get some more.
Yeah. Got you. What I'll do, I'm gonna inbox you the group chat link. It's a Signal group chat, so I'm gonna text it to you, and then once you win, I'm gonna send you all the information for the t-shirt, the Airbnb that I suggested everybody take, the flyer for the cookout, all of that, and I'll send you the list of places where to not stay in case you can't get that Airbnb. I'll tell you not to stay. Let me tell y'all. I'm gonna tell y'all again: Sanford, Kissimmee, Lake Mary, Winter Haven. Those are 45 minutes away from the park. Don't stay there. All right. No one's going to pick your ass up. I'm telling you that right now. That's too much gas for me. All right. We have a new person. I can't say your name because there's a whole bunch of symbols. How do I say your name?
Yeah. Plasma.
There we go. Plasma. How's it going, Plasma? Are you at least 18? And which number did you want to talk about?
Yeah, I'm at least 18. And I think there's probably some leftist policies I don't agree with, and I do think there's sufficient reason to take on the belief of at least theism.
All right, cool. Which leftist policy would you disagree with?
Well, I'm pretty economically left, but I don't think I agree with pro-life, pro-choice. I'm pretty pro-life.
You're pretty pro-life. All right, cool. Not a problem. You can be pro-life if you want. My only thing is that if you're gonna be pro-life, sure, just be pro-life. What does that have to do with anybody else, though? You think that you're gonna make abortion illegal?
Yeah, I think abortion in the general case is comparable to murder, a lot of it. So I think we should make laws that prevent murder.
I mean, we already have that.
With the general case of abortion?
No, because we don't consider abortion to be murder. So it's like when you say that abortion is murder, though, the question will then be why?
Yeah, I think there's a multitude of reasons. I think the fetus in development is probably a person. I think there is some future valuable experience resemblant to ours. I think it's a part of a rational nature, or it has a rational nature. I think those are, sufficient reasons to take on a person. I also think it has a holomorphic soul.
Well, I don't believe in souls. So, but when it comes to the personhood argument, what I would say is that we can grant personhood when it actually has a conscious experience, which typically doesn't happen until in between 21 to 24, I think, weeks. That's when the synapses or the actual physical capability to have a conscious experience grows around that time. So not only that, that's actually around the time of viability, around 21 to 24 weeks. That's a little fuzzy there, which is why I give that block. But typically we know by 22 it's viable. Yeah, I mean, and we know by 23 it has a conscious experience, which means that conscious experience to feel pain, make rational decisions, et cetera, et cetera. It happens around that time. So, but before that time, there's really nothing there, right? But I can see, like, on a personal level, at 21 weeks, because I went through something like that just personally. At 21 weeks, why no one will want to have an abortion then. I get that part. But at the end of the day, when it comes to personhood, are you putting personhood just at conception, or when it actually has a conscious experience?
No, I think it's a little bit after conception. And I think if I can chime in on a couple points you made, if you don't mind. I think the idea that consciousness is what makes someone as a person falls to a lot of absurdity. And I can demonstrate and give you hypotheticals that demonstrate this. And it's a very contentious idea, right? That takes on a lot of assumptions about dualism versus physicalism. And what about the consciousness? Is it the mind itself that makes it a person? Is it a psychological profile? Like, what is doing the work for person and allows it to persist over time under that working theory?
Give me a sec. Make sure that's on mute. All right. Yeah. So when you say the like it'll lead to absurdity if the person doesn't have so you said putting personhood on conscious experience leads to absurdity. I would ask how so?
Yeah, I mean, the typical comatose baby reductios.
What?
Those are a comatose baby. So just imagine a pregnancy where the baby remains comatose throughout all stages of pregnancy and is born without a conscious experience or ever having a conscious experience, right? Would it be wrong to unalive it?
Does that happen? Are there comatose people? Are there babies born comatose?
Yeah, there's babies that have developed its entire way through pregnancy comatose.
Comatose. Okay. But a person who someone who's comatose, their brain still works, right?
Yeah, it's brainwaves, but they wouldn't have like that first person subjective experience that you said is required for value or what makes it a person, right?
No, they still have that. Comatose people still have that.
They don't have first person subjective experiences.
They're not awake. No, sure. I agree with you. They're in a kind of a sleep state, but they're still having some sort of subjective experience.
No, they wouldn't have a first person subjective experience.
Well, I say first person. I said subjective experience. They're still having that. You even have that when you're asleep.
In a deep coma, that's not what like the standard medical doctors align with. It's pretty contentious.
What, that comatose patients are not having a subjective experience?
Yeah, what is a subjective experience?
I would say basically like some sort of like awareness of like the environment.
Yeah, during deep comatose and during these, they don't develop the faculties to even have awareness, right? They don't. That is a first person subjective experience in order to recognize the awareness. Right?
No, I don't think that's true. Let me look this up just to make sure. Let me see. Okay, that's not exactly wrong. I'll say that's not exactly wrong.
Because
the
like
thing is they do say 1 in 5 do have some sort of like hidden consciousness. They are conscious. They just don't have any type of first person experience. So like so what I would say is that when you have the like you're if you're if you're a comatose person, you still have the ability to have that first consciousness. Like the synapses are there, right, for you to develop that first person experience, right?
Yeah, well,
your brain is still working. That's what I was saying. That your brain is still working. So
yeah, but it's like at a level where it's very minimal. It would be equivalent to like a fetus before full brain development. It's having those types of experiences where it's just reacting to outside stimuli. Right?
Yeah,
it's nothing like.
I'm good with that. That's therefore it's you can
if they, like 10 weeks would be valuable in a person under UBA.
Right. So if what I'm saying is that if they have the ability, the synapses, the mind, if they have the physical capability to have a first person subjective experience, then that's where I will go ahead and cut it off and put the value. That happens typically around 21 to 24 weeks.
But but in the comatose example, right, 1 in 5 have that hidden background What about the other 4? Would it be wrong to unalive them?
Like I said, they still have that ability to do
They
so.
don't. They don't. Their brain isn't producing that ability. They have the physical part. It's like a computer. Like your computer has the physical parts, but it needs to be plugged in and turned on in order for it to be a computer and generate the kinds of things you care about a computer for.
No, I get that. For some reason they're still comatose. They're not waking up. Something is happening that we need to go ahead and repair. So let's go ahead and repair it instead of just throwing them away, right?
Yeah, but why do we value it? If it's not a person.
People.
No, because that would contradict your theory of person.
No, it wouldn't.
Yeah, because you have an instance in which there's no first-person subjective experience or conscious experience.
They have the
right,
ability.
and you don't.
Yeah, they do.
No,
the parts
the
are
study said. And what parts are needed?
The brain synapses, the spinal. I can't say the exact same pieces, but
okay, that's fine. But how about this? Is it wrong to unalive like a brain dead person?
No.
But the parts are there; they're just not working.
The brain is dead. There's nothing there.
No, the brain death isn't like when it turns off. Brain death is when it emits very low brain waves, right?
No,
Something that couldn't.
Brain death is 0 brain waves. There's nothing there.
No.
Yeah,
that's not true.
When the brain is dead, it's completely dead. There's nothing there.
You can look it up. I promise you. There's brain death.
You're saying that there's brain dead people who still have brain waves. That makes no sense.
Yes, brain waves aren't all qualitatively the same.
So what are the brain waves?
They're very minimal, non-instrumental brain waves. That's seen in the comatose baby.
So they're brain dead?
No.
Okay, so but you just said that if they have the same sort of brain patterns as a brain dead person, then they're brain dead. They wouldn't be comatose.
No. Okay. So
I can lay out. Allow me to understand.
Yeah.
Because you just said a brain dead person can have very minimal brain waves, right? I disagree with that. But then you said a comatose baby has that same brain pattern. That'll be brain death, according to you. So, like, which one is it?
No, that's not what the point of the hypothetical is trying to draw. It's trying to draw the part of placing value on the physical objects without instrumental usage, right? There isn't any instrumental effect to the brain parts.
All right, yeah,
right?
I have to put this up to make sure. Yeah, brain dead people don't have brain waves, bro. Once the brain is dead, there's nothing there. There's no waves.
No, there's cases in which brain death is they're very minimal. It's to where they consider it none, but it's still alive. It's not producing instrumental waves.
No, there's no waves at all.
So are you talking about a vegetative state? Because brain dead literally means it's irreversible, and there's no brain activity.
Okay. Wait, there is brain activity. It's just non-instrumental.
No, there's none at all. There's no brain activity.
I can find you a source if that's going to be easier.
Like, there's literally no brain activity. Brain dead people do not have brain waves. There's nothing there.
Yeah, I was incorrect. I was thinking of a deep vegetative comatose. I was wrong there.
All right, cool.
But in cases where there's a deep vegetative comatose, that's likely going to lead to brain death. Is it wrong to unalive them?
No, we have to. I would say wait until they're actually brain dead.
Okay. And what is generating the value or the wrongness of unaliving them?
Well, like I said, they can still come out of that vegetative state and have a conscious experience. But once they're brain dead, that's impossible to reverse. There's nothing there.
Okay. Now apply that to like the fetus, right? So we have the fetus in comatose. The 4 out of 5 that don't have any emissions of a first-person subjective experience.
Can you get the choice on that too? Because I was looking for that, and the only thing
that's the one the host mentioned.
No, you mentioned babies being comatose all the way through. I want the source for it because I couldn't find it. All I can find is the mothers being in a comatose state.
on PubMed, coma in the pregnant patient, and then the host found a source that stated that 1 out of every 5 have some background consciousness, but the other 4 don't.
What is it, PubMed, bro? It's on
PubMed.
PubMed, but what is it?
Coma in the pregnant patient, and then there's
And when you swipe out, we can't hear you. Just to let y'all know, when you swipe out, we can't hear you.
yeah, I'm trying to find
Yeah, not a problem.
more sources. But listen, let's say like it's very rare, or it doesn't even happen at all, right? It doesn't even need to really happen in order to see if your theory of person is valid, right? Because through thought and reason, they can operate in the abstract.
What?
Thought and reason operates in the abstract.
Yeah, but the thing is, thoughts don't happen without a physical brain.
No, I'm saying, I know that. I'm saying that even if it's the case that comatose babies never happen, right, which they do, but if it's the case it never happens,
I
right?
still need the source because this PubMed article is literally talking about the mother, not the baby.
Well, let's just look up. Are there some babies who are born comatose? I never even doubted that. I'm like, humans are weird. That could happen. Are there babies who are born comatose? Yeah, I'm pretty sure it happens. So, yeah, there can be babies who are born comatose. Yeah, because of severe lack of oxygen to the brain and stuff like that. Yeah, it could happen. I don't doubt that. But now if they're saying that it's because of extreme lack of oxygen during labor or to the brain, then those long-term outlooks, it could lead to either injury or brain death. But I would say at the end of the day, my entire position is that my thing about consciousness is not, they're awake right now or they have the experience right now, but they can medically gain or regain that experience. You see what I'm saying? So even if a baby is born comatose, they can possibly regain that, right? But if they're brain dead, they won't.
Regain is the wrong word, right? It's gain. They would never have. Oh, you said regain, but
well, I said gain or regain. I said both. You probably didn't hear the first one, but yeah, gain or regain.
Okay, cool. If it can gain consciousness sometime in the future, then it's a person.
Say that again.
If it can gain consciousness sometime in the future, then it's a person.
If it has the medical physical capabilities, yeah. If it doesn't,
okay, then you need an argument for physicalism.
What do you mean I need an article for physicalism? What do you mean? Like if the things aren't physically there, then they're not going to gain consciousness, right?
No. What you're presupposing a theory of mind. It's very debated upon.
No, I'm not.
Yes, you're
presupposing a theory of mind.
You're presupposing
the theory of mind simply states that we recognize each other as separate. Like that's really it.
No. Theories of mind like type A and type B and Rossian physicalism say that
I have no
the mental parts and the consciousness, they're different working theories of mind. And what it says is that the conscious experience is reducible down to the physical parts itself, right? If that's something that's contentious within the field of philosophy and debate, then that needs an argument because that is what's doing the work for your position. Saying the physical.
Cool. Have you ever detected a mind without a physical brain?
They can operate in a supervenience relation.
I have no clue what that means. Have we ever detected a mind without something physical, without a physical brain? No. Okay, so there's no reason to believe that it could happen.
No, because that doesn't raise the probability of the two competing hypotheses being true or false.
We have no evidence we have no evidence of it. We have no evidence of thoughts, minds, etc. existing without a physical brain. So why would we just assume that
most dualists take on a position that they operate in a supervenience relation?
I understand that, but there's no evidence of that being the case.
I can give you an argument and we could shift the burden.
An argument isn't evidence, bro.
What's evidence?
Evidence is something that we can demonstrate, something that's demonstrable, something that we can collect data on. That's what evidence is. Making a cute little argument. It's not evidence of anything. I understand that this is a philosophical position, right? I don't have any beef with that. It's a philosophical position. I get that. But at some point, your philosophical positions have to be demonstrated for it to show to be true, and we can't do that, or there's no way to do that, or you haven't done that.
Okay, the problem is you're using another very contentious thing called empiricism, right? And I just take evidence to be something that raises the probability of some hypothesis to be true.
Let me ask you this question: how do you interact with the world without your senses?
You all use your senses to interact with the world. Which
senses do you, okay, so the question that I asked is, how do you interact with our reality without your senses?
You don't,
exactly. So we all have to use empiricism, including you.
Okay, empiricism can be a qualifier to truth.
Okay,
right?
so
I can give an example.
How do we demonstrate what we're saying is true then, if we're not going to use some sort of empirical
through
evidence?
Proofs,
because
through proofs and logic.
Through proofs? What do you mean through proofs? Like math?
Yeah.
So there's
do you think math is empirical?
So there's mathematics to show that consciousness exists without a mind, without a brain.
No, there's a string of premises that operate under a logical proof that demonstrate.
That doesn't show evidence. That's not evidence, bro. That's another argument.
What? Wait, do you take like the fields of work that all quantum physicists do when they take empirical evidence and use that empirical evidence to update their proofs to demonstrate the likelihoods of different working theories for cosmology? Do you think that's not evidence?
Quantum mechanics uses math, bro, and they use physics.
Do you think math is empirical?
Math, like as far as we see, it's pretty much at least what we invented
empirics?
for it.
What? Wait, what's an empiric? Because if math is empirical, then you're committed to saying
hold on,
an argument.
Hold on, wait. We're going way too much into the weeds. We're talking about abortion.
Well, the problem is you're using.
Hold on. Plasma. We're going way into the weeds. All right. So this is not going to really help us. This is what I would say. Okay. Let's say. Hold on. This is why I don't get into hold on. I'm not. We're getting too far away from the subject. Like at the end of the day, I get that that you don't like abortions to happen. Fine. If that's the case, you should support leftist policies because abortions will happen less if we instituted better education, better sex education, more access to contraceptives, better family planning policies. If we had that, you would see abortions either be very, very minimal or not at all. Yeah, so why not just do that?
I'm economically left. Like I can be economically left and socially left towards those positions and have a major disagreement about the accessibility of first term abortions. I don't think those things should be accessible.
All right, why not? Because if you're to the left, then you also agree with bodily autonomy, don't you?
Yeah, everyone agrees with bodily autonomy. I just don't think it's an absolute right. You don't think it's an absolute right, right?
No, bodily autonomy is absolutely absolute.
You don't believe that, and I can demonstrate it. Super easy.
Sure.
Bodily autonomy is what? The governance of one's body?
One's own body.
Okay. Can you use your bodily autonomy to go out and run down the street naked?
Yes, you
into a school zone? Into a school zone naked, and that isn't a moral wrong?
That's an immoral wrong because you're violating someone else's autonomy. You're violating those children. Yeah. You're violating those children, exactly. Aren't you?
Yeah, exactly. And that's what the whole point is.
So plasma.
There's a violation of a bodily autonomy towards a person in the case of abortion.
In the case of abortion, all right. So it's violating their autonomy. The thing is though that fetus or that zygote is violating the mother's autonomy.
Okay, and I think there's times where a violation of bodily autonomy is permissible, like vaccines. I think people should be mandated to have vaccines, and there should be a violation of bodily autonomy there. I think people should have their bodily. Do you think people should have their bodily autonomy violated when they get arrested? Do you think a mass murderer should have his bodily autonomy violated when he's taken into question?
He's a danger to others.
Okay, and a danger to others because he unalives others and frustrates the bodily autonomy of others? Okay, so we have a case in which the mother would be frustrating the bodily autonomy of the baby and the baby is frustrating the bodily autonomy of that. Let's just take it.
I side with the mother on that because it's her body it's happening to.
It's what do you think the fetus is? That it has a body?
I know the fetus has a body, But
And
but
it's
the
violating
the fetus is violating the mother's autonomy if she decides that it is. I'll say that because we have mothers here. We have people who have gone through tragic things when it comes to pregnancy. So I just want to make it clear.
Okay.
If
Have you ever heard of
hold on, if they decide that the fetus is violating their body, then yes, I'm siding with the mother.
Have you heard of the Cabin in the Woods?
That's a terrible
The movie?
argument.
That's not an argument. It's just a hypothetical. Okay, so we have a cryptic pregnancy that happens in the woods.
I need you to calm down. Like, relax, please.
I'm trying to.
You keep talking over people. Relax. Please stop doing
relax.
that. I want to start muting you.
Okay,
I
we have a case.
No. I don't care for the Cabin in the Woods. I've heard it before.
Because it demonstrates when bodily autonomy isn't necessary.
Are you okay? Stop over talking. Relax.
Host, have you heard of the Cabin in the Woods?
Have you heard of the comments? Because that's where you're going to go if you don't stop being disrespectful. I'm trying to say I am the host. Shut up.
Plasma. Calm down for a second. All right. Let's take it down a notch. Hey, what's his name? Ascend over on my I'm sorry about that, y'all. Over on my StreamYard. I'm gonna get to you in a second. All right. But Plasma, give me 1 second. Now, I've never heard of Cabin in the Woods. Of course, I think Ariel and Empress have heard of Cabin in the Woods. So they'll be the ones that'll probably respond to this better than I can because I've never heard of it. I know I don't know if Ariel wants to say something, but Empress has her hand up. Whoever wants to go first, Ariel or Empress, you one of y'all go first because Empress has her hand up. Go ahead, Empress, if you like to go.
You know, I'm going to make it very simple because he brought up bodily autonomy. You don't get to claim bodily autonomy for a potential human being when to get the body, you have to drain, let's say, my body to build your body. You don't have a body yet for that potential body. There is no body yet. In order to gain a body, to have bodily autonomy for that potential human being, you have to drain my body. And that, how can you have bodily autonomy for a body that does not exist?
Is there not an organism living inside of the uterus?
How can you have bodily autonomy?
There is an organism in there, right?
Think about this. How can you have bodily autonomy for a body that does not exist?
Well, it does exist.
When we are talking about a cluster of cells, that will need to drain the resources of a cluster of cells, a parasite as it is.
It's not.
That will need to. It is a parasite. Look at.
Pull up one source.
Look at the definition.
Pull up one medical source.
Plasma.
Would you stop fucking talking over me?
Yeah, I'm sorry, Empress. Can you give me 1 second?
You immature child.
I'm sorry, Empress. I'm sorry about this. Plasma, do us a favor. Let her get her entire thing out, and she's going to let you go. I promise she would. You can respond, bro. You can respond, but you can't keep like the middle of her sentence is not interrupting the beginning of yours. Like you can't keep doing that. Let her say everything out first, and then you go ahead and you can respond to it. All right. I'm sorry about that, Empress. Go ahead and finish what you were saying.
Can I just chime in for 1 second?
No, not yet. Let her finish what she was saying first, and then you could go ahead and go in.
When you claim that the resource, that it is not a parasite, how does it live without the resources of the mother, of its host? How does it build itself without the resources of its host? Are you claiming that the resources that are used to make its kidney, its heart, its liver, the skin, the teeth, the hair, all of those things, are those being Amazon delivered?
Then I can operate in a symbiotic relationship.
Little shipments? No, they are direct. It needs even your multi-day meals in order to survive. If you are not getting enough food as the host, it will survive off of the body fat that you already have. This is the reason why women carry more body fat than men. In case they should happen to get pregnant and there's a shortage of food, or there should be a shortage of food while they are breastfeeding. That is the reason. That parasite lives off of the mother's resources. You cannot have bodily autonomy when there is no body yet, and that you would require all your resources from your host in order to build a body.
Okay. Can I respond?
I think she's done now. Go ahead.
Okay, so there was a multitude of false claims there. Parasitic relationships happen between different species. Also, there is something that exists that is a separate organism, right? Because if there's nothing or no body that exists, then it can't be a parasite. So you're contradicting yourself there. I just want one source that demonstrates a biological consensus that it is a parasite rather than a symbiotic relationship. If you could just demonstrate that, right? Because you made the claim.
So parasitic relationships do not have to be different species. That's wrong. They don't.
Can you demonstrate with a source, please?
I'm in the middle of doing things. I'm not going to look it up.
Host, can you please look up is pregnancy a parasitic relationship?
Wait, hold on. They don't have to be different sources. Number two, I asked you before you start having me look things up. I asked you, where are the resources coming from if not from the host?
Yeah, it comes from the mother. That happens in symbiotic relationships too.
One is coming. It's not a symbiotic.
Okay, how about this? How about we appeal to a biological consensus?
What is it providing to the mother? It is not providing anything to the mother. It is taking everything from the mother.
Provide stem cells. Host, can you just please look up, is pregnancy a parasitic or symbiotic relationship? So we can get a source to fact check. That'd be great. And she also recognized it was of the same species. So it is a human and a separate organism.
Give me 1 second. Now, here's going to be the thing that probably, give me 1 second. Let me just get to where this is here. There we go. Here's the thing that is going to happen that probably neither of you will like, because you're both right. Give me a second. There we go. Biologically, pregnancy is not a parasitic relationship, but the fetus does act like a parasite. So biologically, yeah, sure, you can say that for parasitism to happen, it has to be two different species, but the fetus does act as a parasite. So you can describe it as a parasitic relationship because it acts as one.
No, you'd be contradicting biological consensus.
All right, who cares? We're talking about colloquially, bro.
Okay, now we're talking about colloquially? Okay.
Yes, we always were. Do you think this is a science class? This is not a
I was asked a multitude of sources about the cases of like comatose baby, and then we brought up sources to demonstrate that.
But because we just never heard of it, bro. That's what I'm saying. We just never heard of hold on, wait, Plasma.
My bad.
You made a claim about you made a claim about comatose babies. We never heard of it. So we just said, okay, well, let's look it up. But when we're talking about the fetus acting as a parasite on the mother, yeah, that's what happens. Now, biologically, is it a parasite? No, because it requires two different species for it to be a parasite. But right now, does it draw on the resources of the mother? Yes, it does. So it does act as a parasite. I get the what I would say, the emotional attachment or the emotional charge of it, right? Because it sounds incendiary. It sounds incendiary to call what we would consider another human as a parasite. It sounds incendiary. I get it, but the fetus does act that way. My entire thing is this. It goes back to this, Plasma. I get not liking abortions, right? I get not liking it. I'm not going to take that away from you. What I'm saying is that if we employ a lot of the policies that I would like to put in, you would see them either happen very, very rarely or not at all. So instead of simply trying to control what women can do with their own bodies, why not just put in those policies? I'm sorry, I don't want to quickly move on. I do want you to go ahead and talk, Empress, if you wanted to add more to say.
I mean,
Just while I have a moment, I'm trying to see if I can pull something up real quickly.
anyways, yeah, I think first trimester abortions for sure are best.
I think this would fall on. Let me see if I can find something for interest-specific parasitism.
Mm-hmm.
Hold on, let me see. Oh, let's see. National. Okay.
I'm sorry, Empress, give me 1 second. Hey, Ascend, I do see you there in the StreamYard. Don't worry, we're gonna get to you next. We're gonna have a few more minutes with Plasma, and then we're gonna go ahead and move on. Because Plasma, you have been up here for a while. I don't think we've ever gotten to the consensus of where we're talking about. But I do want Empress to go ahead and finish what you were saying, and then we'll go ahead and move on. Go ahead whenever you're ready, Empress.
So this, I think, is going to fall under interest-specific parasitism.
Mm-hmm.
Usually it would be, usually they refer to, it's most commonly for brood parasitism, yes.
Mm-hmm.
But there, it just goes to the fact that it does not have to be interspecies. It can be intra. So that's where you get the intraspecific parasitism.
Gotcha. All right. So Liam, honestly, I'm sorry. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
So now we've determined that because the fetus will act as a parasite, right?
No, we haven't agreed. Okay,
where is it? You already admitted that it gets all of its resources from this host, that being the mother.
Yeah, listen, acting like a parasite doesn't give you the grounds to say it is a parasite and operates, because the biological consensus is it's not an intraspecific parasitism.
It brings nothing to the game. You don't. If
emotional benefit.
Wait, hold on. If I come and take $100 from you, and then I give you back $20, you don't get to claim, well, I brought $20 to the table.
Yeah, but
that's effectively what you're trying to. That's really what you're trying to claim with this.
Anyway, I mean, listen.
Actually,
the crux,
what you're trying to claim is that
I feel like it's hard to respond when it becomes a run-on.
What you're trying to claim is that the fetus has the right to unalive the mother.
No.
And yes,
pregnancy is dangerous for women, but this is what I would say, Plasma. Do you at least understand my position that if we put more leftist policies into place, abortions will happen like very rarely or not at all? Do you agree with that?
Yeah, listen, I agree. I'm pretty left leaning.
I got you. You can go ahead and talk to Empress. That was just my position. I know you and Empress have a different one. Go ahead, talk to her, because pregnancy can definitely harm the mother. Because I think that's where she's coming from. Am I right, Empress?
Oh, most definitely.
Okay. Listen, I could just draw an example of when bodily autonomy could be overridden in moral claims, right? And that would ruin the crux of the argument Empress is trying to give. And it is the cabin in the woods, but she won't let me give the cabin in the woods.
I just never heard it. So if you want to give, you can go ahead. I think Empress does want
to use somebody like me as an example. And when I say use me as an example, use somebody like me as an example, who was advised before she turned 16 years old that she had an autoimmune disorder that strongly increased the odds that pregnancy would be harmful to her. And many of the people who try becoming pregnant, actually, many of the people who have the disorder often find out during their childbearing years, either when they're trying to get pregnant or once they've had a baby and it sends them into a flare. Or third, when they've had a baby and it almost unalives them, as happened to a friend of mine. It almost unalived her. Her son is almost 5 years old, and she is still dealing with the repercussions of having had her son. Okay?
Mm-hmm.
Tell me about
Can I
this.
give the cabin in the woods example now?
No. Talk to me about
I can't.
me. No, because you want to use some.
We're going to anecdotal stuff.
I'm using a very real example that happens on a very regular basis.
Yeah, if the mother's life is in grave danger, she should be able to have an abortion.
Well, every pregnancy is dangerous. There is not a single pregnancy that is not dangerous.
Yeah, I mean, okay. Obviously, right? But there's other activities that increase the risk of danger that we allow morally in society all the time because it doesn't put you in a grave risk. Like driving the speed limit and adhering to traffic laws is dangerous, especially on a motorcycle, right? But we allow that in society because there's not a moral wrongmaker there. When there's a grave danger, like driving erratically, right? That's when it becomes immoral, okay? But I would like to give the cabin in the woods example because it demonstrates an absurdity within your worldview. And I don't understand why we haven't been able to do this.
You want to go to the absurdities. I'm showing you the very realities.
I don't think you understand.
Let's talk about the women who, once again, like me, use birth control and end up pregnant still.
Okay. And you were in grave danger and you could have unalived on a grave scale. It was more likely than not you would unalive.
What? In the U.S., if we look at the U.S.,
I'm asking questions and I feel like they're not even getting answered.
Yes. Okay. I was a high-risk pregnancy from the moment. I was a high-risk pregnancy from the moment that my doctors determined I was pregnant. From the moment.
Okay, then you should probably.
Doctors, listen.
Yes, you can get an abortion.
You might want to be quiet. Wait, hold on.
You can get an abortion.
My doctors. Wait, hold on. Don't just cut me off because now you've asked the questions.
I'm saying you can get an abortion. That's all I needed.
No, don't.
Hold on.
I don't want to know about your. It's like, but I've already answered the question. There's no reason to get into the anecdotals about her life.
What about the women like myself who end up pregnant even though they've taken birth control and don't want to have to put their lives in grave risk?
I said you can get the abortion. I've said that like 5 times.
So every woman who has taken birth control and still ends up pregnant can get an AB.
No.
Yes?
No, if their life is in grave risk, then they can get the abortion. But that's not the general case of abortion.
So let me just try to understand this. You just disagree with abortion because you take zygotes and fetuses as persons the moment that the sperm hits the egg.
No.
All right. So when do you take it as a person? When it's a zygote?
Probably a couple weeks after implantation. I'm unsure.
So about 4 to 6 weeks.
Yes, maybe like. Even 8 weeks.
He wants to claim when most women won't know that they're pregnant.
Yeah. You see the
I
problem
think
there?
maybe. Okay. I mean, there's a pragmatic issue, right? But this is a moral question of which I think it becomes a person under my working theory of person.
I got you. That's why I don't get into the morals of it. You can have those morals if you want. Let's just go ahead and put in policies that would make it less likely to happen or not at all.
I agree that we should curate our policies to more sex education. I think healthcare should be free. I'm pretty left wing, and I think those things are a good step that the right needs to take in order to get this position.
Right.
But I'm saying there's a disagreement on the access for the general case of first trimester abortion. I don't think those things.
Here's the problem though, Plasma. If you cut it off, you're gonna cause more problems than you solve, aren't you?
No,
you are, because what happens in every country where they abolish abortion?
I'm not an abolitionist.
So
I don't think we should abolish abortion. I think abortion should remain legal, but should have stricter qualifications like medical assessments.
All right, because now we're wasting our time. Yeah, now we're wasting our time.
I wanted to respond to a couple of things, but yeah, that's why I was silent, because I don't like to argue abortion with men who will never give birth. That's fucking crazy. But the last thing that he said about if you're in danger during your pregnancy, the most dangerous point in pregnancy is the birth itself. So that would automatically, so everybody can get abortion, because you're more likely to be in fucking harm's way when you're giving birth to the child. So how are you want us to go through the whole pregnancy, and then when we get close to birth and we realize this, oh shit, I might be in danger, now you can get an abortion? Like, that was a moot point. I don't understand. Also,
no, actually the most dangerous thing during pregnancy is often the father who decides he does not want you to be pregnant anymore. That statistically is the thing that puts women's lives at risk the most in pregnancy.
I don't disagree, but I'm just talking about the physicality of the mom. Like the period of pregnancy when you're in the most the position to be at risk is when you give birth, not while you're carrying the baby. Obviously, there's still dangers involved, but giving birth is the period in which you're more likely to unalive, and it's just higher risk as far as not somebody harming you from outside of you, but just in terms of being pregnant in general. I also don't like the cabin in the woods analogy because it's very misogynistic, and it's also out fucking landish. You're talking about a woman being trapped in the woods with a baby, and now you got to breastfeed the baby. Like, it's fucking stupid. This is the baby that you chose to have, and that I'm assuming you would want to feed to keep it alive, which is why your body does that naturally anyways. Again, you would never be in this situation as a man, cabin in the woods or otherwise. You'll never be pregnant. You'll never carry a child. I don't understand why men want to talk about abortion. Lastly, you're talking about elective abortion, which I'm sure you don't get out there and vote on. I promise you don't. And if you do, let me know, because I would like to know which state you're in that is giving you the choice on when and not a mother should be able to abort. Oh, I'm sorry, that wasn't last. Lastly, you keep saying murder, which is unjustified, and you don't get to decide if it's justified or not, especially considering there's always the chance that the mother is going to unalive, and you're choosing the quote unquote bodily autonomy of the baby over the mother. That's not your decision, and it's none of your business.
All right. Appreciate you, Ariel. Appreciate you, Empress. Right now, we're going to move on to who I think is probably going to be my last guest for today. His name is Ascend. He's right up here. Ascend, have you been able to hear the TikTok?
Yeah.
Okay, great. All right, so we do have Ariel and Empress, as you can see on your screen. If you're looking at your screen, of course it's a little blotchy, but if you look at the screen, here's Ariel and here's Empress. Okay, so they're gonna be chiming in as well. We're gonna go ahead and put some time on the clock. I'm gonna put some more time for you because we did go longer with the with Plasma. So, Ascend, are you at least 18? And which number did you want to talk about?
Yeah, and I want to talk about number 4.
It's about number 4. Okay. I don't think there's any good evidence for a God. This is what's going to happen. You're going to talk to me for about 10 minutes, and then Ariel and Empress is going to chime in, unless it's something that they really want to address, and then they'll chime. Then Ariel will chime in because she is a mod. Sound fair?
Okay.
All right. We're going to talk about for about 10 minutes, and then they'll chime in. All right. So I don't think there's any good evidence for a God. What evidence do you think that there is one?
What would count as evidence?
Something that's demonstrable, demonstrable, repeatable, testable, things like that, I think would qualify as good evidence.
Does that include philosophical argumentation?
Not necessarily. And sometimes really not really, because at the end of the day, philosophical arguments only really gets us into the weeds, or at the end of the day, it doesn't demonstrate anything, because we can agree with everything that you say philosophically, right? That doesn't necessarily make a God exist, or it wouldn't necessarily actually demonstrate that a God does exist.
Okay, well, would you be fine with me running my argument then?
Yeah, sure. I mean, you can go ahead and state your position. Go ahead.
Okay, are you familiar with the transcendental argument?
Yes, unfortunately.
Yeah.
Yeah, sure. What's go ahead and tell me more about the transcendental argument.
So, premise 1, God is the necessary precondition for knowledge. Premise 2, knowledge exists.
Therefore, God exists. Okay.
Yes.
Why is God the necessary pre-existence for knowledge? Because actually, there's another problem. You haven't shown a God exists yet. You're just asserting one.
No, I'm saying if something is the necessary precondition for another thing, then it means that those things have to exist if the thing that it is the condition of exists, right? So, for example, like, let me give you an analogy, okay? So,
see what I mean?
The necessary,
this is where it's not going to get us anywhere.
Hold on.
This is what I mean, Ascend. It's not going to get us anywhere. The first premise is God is a necessary precondition for knowledge to exist. You haven't shown a God exists yet. You have to show that first.
Yeah, I'm saying, okay, let me explain it for you, okay?
No,
so
I understand it already, Ascend. You have to show a God exists first in order for the first premise to work. How do you show that?
No, I don't. I'm saying that if something exists, then it necessarily entails God, right?
Right. You have to show a God exists first.
No, I don't. I'm saying if this exists, then God exists. I can prove that God is necessary for knowledge.
No,
you want me to prove that God is necessary for knowledge?
No, that's a problem. You can't simply say something exists, therefore God. Because this glass cup exists, therefore Olodumare, the god of the Yoruba religion, also exists. These glasses exist. Me being a black man exists. Me being a bald black man exists. Therefore, Olodumare, the god of the Yoruba religion, exists, and not the God that you're talking about. You see how this gets crazy?
Well, no, because you would have to demonstrate that those things are necessary. That God is necessary.
Yes,
for
black people are necessary for a God, for Olodumare to exist. Therefore, Olodumare exists because black people exist.
Okay, the problem is you can't demonstrate the first premise. I can show you the first premise to be true.
That's what I've been saying. You have to show a God exists first.
I have to show that God is necessary for knowledge.
No, you have to show it exists.
Okay, does knowledge exist?
You would still
no,
you would
you
still have
need
to show
knowledge doesn't.
Hold on.
Does knowledge exist?
No.
Just,
don't.
Okay.
Stop. You don't answer a question with another question. When it comes to a God, you need to show one exists first. You just can't be say knowledge exists, therefore God. That's I can say knowledge exists, therefore the blue genie of the lamp. It doesn't get us anywhere. Show a God exists first, then you can show how he's necessary for knowledge.
What? Okay.
You have to show a God exists first before you show that a God is necessary for knowledge. You can't say knowledge exists, therefore God, because I can also say knowledge exists. I can also say knowledge exists, therefore the blue genie of the lamp.
Okay. If X is the necessary precondition of Y, then Y necessarily entails X. If Y exists, then X also exists, right?
This tells me nothing. Show the God exists first.
I don't have to demonstrate that X exists. I'm saying I don't have to demonstrate that Y exists. I'm saying no, I don't.
Yes, you do.
Not in this argument. That's not how it works. Can
yes, you do.
Demonstrate that?
Yes, you do.
Okay, listen to me, please.
No. You have to show a God exists first, because you're simply asserting that I understand the entire premise. X exists, Y exists, whatever. I get everything that you're saying. The problem is that you're putting something that hasn't been shown to exist yet.
Okay, can you steelman my position then?
No.
No? You can't steelman my position? Are you listening?
Because it's stupid. You have to show a God exists first. The transcendental argument for a God is stupid because of this reason. You're not showing a God exists first. That's the entire problem with the premise. You have to show one exists first. You can't simply say a God exists. You can't say knowledge is true. I mean, knowledge exists, therefore God exists, because I can do the same thing for anything. Again, the blue genie of the lamp exists because this glass is necessary for the blue genie of the lamp. You don't believe in the blue genie of the lamp. That's exactly what you're arguing. You're saying
Okay.
that knowledge exists, therefore God exists because God is necessary for knowledge. This glass exists because the blue genie of the lamp exists because this glass is necessary for the blue genie of the lamp. It's still stupid. You have to
You
show
would
a
have
God
to show
exists.
that the blue genie of the lamp is necessary for the glass to exist,
Yes, the
which
blue
I can
genie of
prove
the
that
lamp-
God is necessary for
The blue
knowledge.
genie of the lamp is necessary for this for this glass to exist.
Can you prove that?
Yes, because I said so. This gets us
That's
nowhere.
not my argument. I have another syllogism to prove that my.
I don't need another
other
syllogism. I need a
arguments, like-
demonstration of a God existing.
Okay, let me just say this. Okay, so eggs and flour are the necessary precondition of a cake. Cake exists, therefore eggs and flour exists. Is
We
that
know-
a valid argument?
Because we know eggs and flour exist, bro. It's a valid valid.
We know
and sound,
eggs and flour
hold
exist
on,
because
flat,
cake contains them.
hold on, Ascend. We know eggs and flour exist because they're physical. They're not reality. I can go to the Publix 15 minutes away from me and get some eggs, or I can go to my refrigerator and get some eggs. I can demonstrate that eggs exist. I can demonstrate that flour exists. So this is not a proper analogy. You need to demonstrate the God first. You can't say knowledge exists, therefore God. You have to show that the God exists first. Your thing with the eggs and the flour and everything like that. Yeah, sure, that's perfect because eggs and flour presuppose that cakes and presuppose that eggs and flour exist. Sure.
And I'm saying
But
knowledge presupposes God. That's my whole argument. You're saying
Hold on. We can show eggs exist. We can show flour exist. We can come up with a definition of knowledge. You have to show that a God exists. You haven't. That's what I'm saying.
just what is your epistemology?
What does that mean?
What is your
How do I determine
foundation of
things are true?
reality? What's your foundation of reality?
What is my foundation of reality?
Yes.
I'm not sure how to answer that question.
You don't.
What do you
you don't
mean?
know. Okay. What is the thing that makes other things true?
Evidence.
Evidence. How do you know that evidence is what makes things true?
If it's testable, it's repeatable, if it's demonstrable, if it's empirical.
Okay, so you're saying that empiricism is the way that we know things, right?
Mostly, yeah.
Can you use empiricism to prove empiricism?
I'm not sure.
You're not sure?
No.
So you're saying we need to use empiricism to prove everything. Can you use empiricism to prove empiricism? If you're not sure, then we can't use empiricism to prove everything.
Okay.
So empiricism is not the foundation of reality then, right?
So what is?
I'm saying God is the foundation of reality.
Demonstrate that.
Because God is necessary for knowledge.
Demonstrate
That's my whole. Okay, here we go. Here's where we're getting to something. God is necessary for knowledge because knowledge is utilized through the laws of logic. One of the laws of logic is the law of non-contradiction. These laws of logic have to be universal, immaterial, and infinite. Correct?
No, this demonstrates a God.
What?
This doesn't demonstrate a God. You're just going into arguments again. What demonstrates the God?
The thing that demonstrates God is that laws of logic exist. And for laws of logic to exist, they have to be immaterial and universal. There is nothing in this world that can ground that because everything in this world is immaterial and is not universal. Can you tell me something other than a God that is immaterial and universal?
Yeah, your mom.
What?
Exactly. You see how this gets crazy, right? This is kind of stupid. This is kind of stupid.
Dude,
none of this demonstrates a God, bro.
Just because you don't understand basic philosophy doesn't mean philosophy is not correct.
I didn't say the philosophy is not correct. I'm saying what you're saying doesn't get us anywhere. You haven't demonstrated a God yet.
It does. I don't need. This is the way I'm demonstrating God. Is I'm saying
it's not.
If we can know anything, okay. If we can know anything, God exists.
Okay,
we can know
so
things,
yeah, if we can know anything, God exists. If black people are real, then Oldumare is also real.
So can you give a syllogism for that?
Yes. Premise one, Oldumare is necessary for black people to exist. Premise two, black people exist. Premise three, Oldumare exists.
Okay, demonstrate the first premise.
Yeah, sure. Black people exist, therefore Oldumare.
That's not what I'm saying at all. It's a false analogy. See?
Yeah, it is.
I'm not saying that
you're simply
I'm
asserting
not
things.
saying
That's
the
what I'm
first
saying.
premise is true because I'm not asserting things. I'm saying laws of logic are immaterial and universal.
Yes, laws of logic are
That
immaterial
means
and
that whatever
universal.
grounds it
That
has to be
means
immaterial.
yes,
and
that means
universal.
whatever grounds it has to be universal, immaterial. Therefore, Olodumare, the god of Yoruba religion.
Say that again.
Everything that you said, the conclusion is Olodumare.
So you're saying that this god that you just made up is the okay? Well,
I didn't make him up. Olodumare is a real god in the Yoruba religion.
Okay, you're saying that he's okay. Why is he specifically necessary for knowledge?
Because the first people on this planet were black, and therefore black people are the ones who were the first ones to gain knowledge. Therefore, Olodumare.
Knowledge is. That doesn't mean that the first thing that created knowledge is black.
Yeah, it is because the first people on this planet were black.
No, that's a non sequitur.
No, it's not.
You demonstrate that?
The first people on this planet were black.
Yeah, that's a non sequitur. You're saying the first people on the planet were black, therefore God is black. That's just not valid.
That's what the first premise is. A complete non sequitur. You're proving my entire point here. My entire point is that your first premise is a complete non sequitur. Having knowledge doesn't mean that a God exists, and you're simply saying that a God is necessary for knowledge, but haven't shown that a God exists yet. And when I asked you to show that a God exists, all you brought up was the laws of logic and everything like that, right? But I can easily take that same argument. I can easily take that same argument and apply it to Olodumare, to Orochimaru, to Brahma, to Zeus. I can apply it to any of them, bro.
Are those things triune?
What?
Are those things triune?
The god of Hinduism is Brahma, Vishnu, and another one. Brahma, Vishnu, and another one is triune. Give me a second.
Demonstrate that, please.
What do you mean demonstrate? It's part of the religion. What do you mean?
Yeah, can you show me from their sources?
There's Brahma, Vishnu, and Shiva. That's the other one. Brahma, Vishnu, and Shiva.
Three gods does not equal one.
They're the Hindu Trinity.
What? There is no Hindu Trinity. They believe in. There is
a Hindu Trinity.
No, there is not.
Yes, there is. You want me to show it on the screen? Yes, there is. There is a Hindu Trinity.
You are so. Oh my gosh, I'm gonna lose my.
Yeah, I know you're gonna lose your mind because you don't know any of this shit. There is a Hindu Trinity. Would you like me to show it on the screen?
Sure, man.
All right, sure. Let's and when you show and when I show you the Hindu Trinity, what are you gonna say?
I'm not gonna say.
When I show you the Hindu Trinity, what are you gonna say?
You have to show me at first. I'm not gonna have to say anything. I don't have to tell you what I'm gonna say because you're not gonna be able to demonstrate it. I don't think you even know what.
Holy fuck.
Well, man, you don't.
Holy fuck! It's right there, bro. The Hindu Trinity, known as the Trimurti, is a concept of Hinduism where cosmic forms function of creation, preservation, and destruction, as personified by three major deities: Brahma, Vishnu, and Shiva. Hinduism has a Trinity, guy. Holy fuck! You really? I think I wasn't gonna be able to prove that. Hinduism has a Trinity,
bro.
What? Hinduism has a Trinity. I just showed it to you.
It's three forms.
That's a Trinity, my guy. That's their Trinity.
It's not the same.
It is the same thing. You didn't say type. I said it has a Trinity, and you said it doesn't. It absolutely does.
Doesn't have the same.
Now hold on. Ascend. Stop.
Trinity's not a universal.
Ascend. Stop. Listen to what I'm saying to you. I understand that Christianity has a Trinity. That wasn't my argument. Wasn't about that the Hinduism has the exact same Trinity as Christianity. That wasn't my argument. I said that it does have one, and it does. Hinduism has a Trinity. It doesn't operate the same way Christianity does, but that's irrelevant. They have a Trinity. You said it didn't.
Okay, fine. Let me dumb it down for you.
No. Don't get snarky. Don't get snarky because you're proven fucking wrong. Bro. Hinduism has a Trinity. You were wrong. Now, of course, it doesn't operate in the same. Hold on, Ascend. It doesn't operate in the exact same way that Christianity does, but I never claimed that. I said that it has one, and it does. You were wrong. Don't do that snarky shit again. You were wrong. It does have a Trinity.
A monotheistic God consisting of one essence and three persons is the necessary precondition for knowledge. There.
Okay. How do you prove that to be true?
Oh my gosh, I already did this 3
No,
times.
you didn't.
You want me to do it
No, you didn't.
again?
You just asserted the laws of logic. That doesn't prove that the Trinity is correct. The laws of logic,
the laws of logic immaterial and universally binding. Therefore, whatever grounds them
is Hinduism.
Is immaterial and universally binding.
Yeah, Hinduism then.
One of the Aristotelian.
So who cares about the Aristotelians? Who cares? I don't care about the Aristotelian. Ascend. What I'm saying is that your same argument can be used for any god, any religion, any of them.
And
all right, so fine. So because of the Trinity thing, right? Ascend. You still have to show that a God exists and he's a Trinity. You still have to show that. No, you didn't. The laws of logic doesn't show that the Trinity exists. It doesn't.
Yes, it does.
No, it doesn't.
Because the necessary entailment, you idiot.
Exactly. Yeah. Okay. Ascend. If you do that again, I'm just gonna drop you. All right. Because I didn't insult you, did I?
You were getting.
Did I insult you, Ascend? Yes or no?
No. I mean,
all right. So why are you coming insult? Why are you coming at this with this heat and all insulting and shit? I didn't call you an idiot this whole time.
I feel free to.
I can crash out and tell you to suck my dick, but I'm not gonna do that.
You can feel free to. I don't care. You can insult me all you want.
No, I'm not gonna do that because I actually want to have a conversation. How about not be rude? Is that can you do that?
Sure.
Okay, cool. So you can not be rude. Great. Now you've gone over time with me and Ariel and I'm sorry, Empress. Ariel and Empress would like to have a talk with you next. All right, Ariel, go ahead. What did you have for Ascend?
Yeah, I don't really. Sorry, my neighbor's cutting their grass, but I don't really care for the philosophical arguments, especially this one, because the most I could give you is that you're gonna run into logic being necessary, but asserting the God, especially the fucking Trinity, like I don't know how you're gonna substantiate that, especially when you're saying you don't have to because the argument itself is the fucking evidence. I don't care for philosophy. I don't really have an issue with it. I just don't care to engage with it because all you're gonna do is insert God where I don't agree. So I don't really get into it. I don't care that much.
Okay, so can you tell me what the prompt is then? It's the prompt. The prompt is there's no good evidence for God. Do you know what the definition?
You haven't given any.
Yeah, the definition of the word evidence is something which tends to prove or disprove something, and that includes philosophical argumentation. So I can use philosophical argumentation just based off the definition of the word evidence.
So real quickly, I too despise
evidence.
Bill
I'm sorry, Empress, give me a second. Evidence is any information, fact, or physical object used to establish the truth of a claim or support a conclusion. Its form of application vary widely depending on context. Where'd you get your definition from?
Dictionary.com.
You got yours from dictionary.com? Cool.
Yeah,
which one? Merriam-Webster?
Fairly certain. Yeah, I don't remember what dictionary.com is.
All right, cool. Evidence. An outward sign. B, something that furnishes proof. C, a visible sign of something, usually in plural. D, something as testimony or writing on object submitted at a judicial administrative proceeding. That's what Merriam-Webster says.
You want to go with Merriam-Webster?
I'm actually which dictionary you're using. I'm just using the colloquial definition.
I was just using dictionary.com. Something that furnishes proof, that would work with philosophical argumentation as well.
Something that furnishes proof. And what is proof?
Yeah. What is proof?
Mm-hmm.
You want me to just look up the definition of that?
Yeah, proof is any factual evidence or logical argument that establishes the truth, validity of existence of something. Is that what we're going by? This is actually what you're going by.
How about the Merriam-Webster definition of proof is?
All right, I'm sorry. Let me let Empress go. Go ahead, Empress.
All right. So as I said before, I do despise Phil Bros, but I'm just going to undercut some of the things that he said before. So when you were asked for evidence of there being a God as one of your arguments, and I was even saying to make the claims that you were making, you would have to prove that a God was necessary for knowledge, because that was your P1. That was, wait, hold on. Just stop talking. Just stop talking. Right? That was part of your P1, right? But that aside, then when you were asked for evidence of there even being a God, you went off into this thing about, oh, well, I'm going to give you an example. If I say that, let's see, eggs and flour are necessary for a cake, and I give you a cake, then that means that eggs and flour were used in the cake. Well, you know what? I can show you recipes that say I can replace the eggs with applesauce. I can also tell you off the top of my head that I can make cheesecake with eggs and not a lick of flour. So this is why we ask for evidence, proof of things that that would back up your assertions. Because I can give you a cheesecake and there will not be not a single bit of flour in there. No flour, right? Which would make your argument moot for the cake. Because cheesecake is a type of cake, right?
Yeah, that was just an analogy. Obviously, analogies are not perfect.
Yes, it was an analogy, but I'm showing you why we ask for actual evidence, not for the bullshit, bro. This is not philosophy. This is evidence that you were supposed to provide. You didn't have to choose
philosophy can be evidence.
No. This is philosophy cannot be evidence. Philosophy is a way of thinking, right? We ask for evidence. Do you have evidence of a God? No, you do not.
Yeah, if you want to redefine
wait, hold on. Let me go to the next piece. There is no Trinity. There is no Trinity in the Christian Bible.
Oh, let's go there. Please, let's go there. I want to do that one so bad.
Trinity,
so fun.
The Trinity is extra biblical, which is why not every Christian church or denomination actually believes in the Trinity.
They're not Christian.
No. They can definitely be Christian and not believe in the Trinity.
You have to hold to the Nicene Creed to be Christian.
So now you do not have to believe in the Trinity to be considered Christian. And see, you've already see how you move so quickly through football. You know what? Let me not insult you. You want to change what the definitions are, but I'm telling you, the Trinity is not in the Bible. It is extra biblical, which is why not every Christian denomination believes in it. So now you'll need to set that aside.
I want to
You'll need to set that aside. No, because that is not one of the debate points.
You just made that point. Of course it's a debate point. You made the point in a debate. What are you talking about? Are you okay?
Go find where in the Bible it says that the Holy Trinity exists.
1 John 5:7.
1 John 5:7.
Genesis 19:24. I have tons of these.
Hold on.
John 8:58.
Hold on, Ascend. Jesus Christ. Hold on, bro. Let's go one by one. 1 John 5:7.
Yeah.
Let's just go ahead and read it. For there are three that bear record in heaven: the Father, the Word, and the Holy Ghost, and these three are in one.
Bam.
Yeah. I don't have an issue with the Trinity. I'll tell you that.
I know. The other person did. They said it's not part of the Christian scriptures.
Hold on. 1 John.
Do you want to just concede that?
Wait, hold on. 5:7. There are three that testify.
That's KGV.
Wait, hold on. Wait. There are three that testify. Wait, hold on, because I'm looking at it in the NRS. The NRSV. There are three that testify: the Spirit and the water and the blood, and these three that agree. It's not the same as saying that that
That's a bad translation.
Yeah,
Father, Son, no, and here's the thing.
No, this is the NRS. Wait, hold on. Wait, this is the NRSVUE, which is NRSVUE is a translation from the original transcripts. So no,
yeah, so
you don't get to
every
say that.
translation. What are you talking about?
No.
No, they are not.
Hold on, pause for us 1 second. So Ascend, like you know there are different translations that have different things on John 1:5-7, right? So if that's the case, if those translations are all bear different basically philosophical but theological can of worms, why should we go with your interpretation instead of one of the others? Now I would say that's number one. But number two, you said that the NRSV is a bad translation, but that's a translation that's typically used by scholars. Are you saying that the scholars are using a bad translation?
Yeah, I don't go with the scholarly consensus as my epistemology.
So
I can demonstrate for sure it's a horrible translation.
So Ascend, I'm not saying that you have to go with them for your epistemology. I'm saying that for biblical criticism, the people who learn the language, the ancient languages, and understand how they're written and have access to the to at least a copy of some of the manuscripts, this is how they're writing out these translations. And you're saying that there's something somehow wrong for some reason.
Yeah, with certain things they can be wrong for sure.
All right, cool. So if certain things can be wrong, and if I'm not mistaken, you're reading from the KJ. Oh, I was reading from the KJV. We know the KJV is also not a good translation. It hasn't been a good, and we know even scholars from like the 1800s have said that the KJV is not a good translation. So I was reading from the KJV, and if that's not a good translation,
KJV does suck as a translation. I don't use it.
All right. So which one should we use to that's the best translation?
You're willing to just roll with that one?
The NRSV?
No, you're willing to roll with whatever translation I want to use?
That's what I'm asking you. What translation are you using?
The Legacy Standard Bible.
And why is that the best one?
It's very modern. It has the most recent manuscripts, and it's based in examinations of church history.
It's divinity. You would be using the NRSVUE or the NRSV.
What?
If you were to go to school for divinity, meaning getting a master's or a doctorate in divinity, you would be using the NRSV or the NRSVUE, not the KJV, and not whatever you just rattled off.
He said the Legacy Standard Bible. Let me see.
Yeah, you certainly wouldn't be using the Legacy Standard Bible.
I don't care. That doesn't matter to me at all. Can I show you for certain why this has to be?
Remember when you tried to say that it is the Trinity is required for Christianity? I'm showing you that it is not.
I have plenty of other examples where it's literally said in the Bible. Like,
all right, that's fine. I mean, y'all can go back and forth about the Trinity all day. I don't think that really matters at the end of the day. We still haven't demonstrated that a God exists. The laws of logic doesn't necessarily show that a God exists. None of it does. We need something to actually fully demonstrate it, because at the end of the day, nothing that we know about our world was ever derived through us having cute little philosophical arguments. Like atoms and germs weren't determined because scientists were saying philosophically due to the p minus p or the x squared of the laws of logic, therefore germs. No, you have to actually show germs exist.
And you haven't shown that a God was required for knowledge.
What was your name again?
All right. Her name is Empress. All right. Empress, give me 1 second, because I do think Nayois is the one with the Sailor Moon on her profile, and that's gonna be the last one, because I don't want to jump us in, because we do have to get to the next person. But if you have time for one more ascend, I have Nayois up here. Is that Nayois or Noise?
It's Nisha.
Nisha.
Thank you.
I do apologize. I'm so sorry. All right. So
okay. Yeah, it's Irish.
All good. All right, Nisha, I think you had a few more things for ascend, but it has to be really quick, because I do want to move on to the next person that I have on the stage, and I gotta go ahead and get out of here. Go ahead, Nisha. What did you have for ascend?
Yeah, I just wanted to kind of like back up what Empress said, that like, yeah, this whole philosophical angle really doesn't help, because like even in the first place, gods in general were never born in philosophy departments. They were born around primitive campfires and in fear and in empire.
Okay. Well,
And you also said when they pointed out the inconsistencies with the legacy standard version of the Bible, that now all of a sudden you're just like, I don't care about like using like the best translation possible. What is that all about?
No, I said I don't care about the one that the scholars use. I do care about
Why
translations
not?
a lot. Why not?
Why don't you care about the scholarly consensus at all?
I mean, I do care about the scholarly consensus on a lot of things, and maybe in other ways the NRSV is a decent translation. I don't know that much about it. I just know that Tertullian quotes the verse that I'm talking about as being the correct manuscript variation.
And why would you say that the NRSV is not a good you said translation from the manuscripts, right? Because the NRSV, the biblical scholars do use the manuscripts. So why is that not a good translation?
Yeah. So the thing is that with 1 John 5:7, different manuscripts have a little bit of a variation. The thing is that early church father Tertullian quotes 1 John 5:7 as saying exactly what my translation says. So that is the earliest record that we have of someone quoting that is that, and we know that these members.
Okay, so the next question would what would then become, why do you think that if Tertullian quoted that scripture, right? Did he quote the scripture in the way that you said it, or the way that the scholars determined?
He quotes it in the way that my translation says.
Okay, how do we know?
How do we know that?
Yeah.
Hold on, let me pull it up.
Now, as a matter of fact, that's unfair for me to ask you. Let me go ahead and pull it up. Tertullian. I'm sorry, Nishi. I can't take over. Go ahead and answer what your next question was. I do apologize.
Yeah, so I think it's in 213 AD. He mentions the 1 John 5:7.
Gotcha. Tertullian. I mean, I'm sorry, I said Tertullian. Nishi, did you have a question for him? I'm sorry.
Not right now.
All right, Tertullian, 1 John 5:7.
Yeah. Quotes.
Well, after these texts would have been written.
All right, so looking this up, I have a source here that he actually did not directly quote that, but that's something deeper, right? Because again, I personally don't care about that. Tell you the truth, I know that a majority Christian theology is Father, Son, Holy Ghost. So that's something I have a beef with. I typically don't care. But all right, Ascend, we're gonna go ahead and move on. But I do appreciate you being on. I have one more person in the stream yard. I have not the man, the legend. I was gonna call you Legend. All right, let's talk to Legend. Okay. Legend, how's it going? Are you at least 18? And which number did you want to talk about?
It's going well, and yes, I am. Can you hear me okay?
Yep.
So I want to talk about leftist policies are better for society.
You sound very familiar, Legend, but we're going to go ahead and keep going, keep it rolling.
Okay, so leftist, by leftist, do you mean Democrat?
No.
So what do you mean by leftist? Can you explain that?
Like leftism, socialism, essentially.
Well, what country are you referencing leftist? Because leftist in America means Democrat.
Leftist in America doesn't mean Democrat. The leftists have said for a very long time that Democrats aren't left. They're left of the Republicans, but they're not the left. They're center right. When it comes to
they're center. Did you say Democrats are center right?
Yeah. So when it comes to
I'm 41 years old and I've never once heard anybody say Democrats are center right.
When it comes to what countries I'm talking about, particularly talking about the Scandinavian countries, and China for some parts of it, not all parts.
Okay, so here in America, though, the left means Democrats.
It doesn't.
So Joe Biden was on the right?
He was pretty much a moderate, yep.
He was a moderate.
No, he was on the right?
No, he was a moderate.
Moderate.
So Kamala Harris is on the right? Well, you said
she's also a moderate.
I asked what a Democrat is, and you said center right.
I said the Democrats mean the party.
They're Democrats, right? They're Democrats, right?
Legend. You do understand that you can, like, parties have spectrums, right? There are people who are Republicans who are more progressive than the MAGA Republicans. You get that, right?
You said Republicans are progressive?
Legend. You need to actually track what I'm saying. Lock in, bro. Track what
I'm trying to, but what you're saying makes no sense.
Legend. Lock in and track what I'm saying.
You?
Legend.
How old are you?
Legend.
Yeah.
Lock in and track what I'm saying.
Okay.
Amongst these parties, there's a spectrum of ideologies, right? There are Republicans who are more progressive than the MAGA Republicans. There are Democrats who are more right, moderate, and more left. For example, AOC is a Democrat. She's more left than someone like Cinema, the one from West Virginia. Hold on, Legend.
She's a socialist.
Hold on, Legend. So
what you're saying makes
Legend,
no sense.
you got it. Legend, you got it. I knew I talked to you before. You don't track, bro. You really don't
what
track.
You're saying makes no sense, bro.
Because you're stupid, bro.
No, because what you're saying.
Okay, so amongst the Democrats, there could be a spectrum of people. AOC, Bernie Sanders, they're much more left than much of the other part of the party. That's how it goes typically. So when you ask me about Biden was a moderate. He wasn't as left as someone as Bernie or AOC. He was a moderate. Being a Democrat doesn't mean that he's automatically center right. There are a lot of Democrats who are center right. I would say Obama was more center right. Now you can go.
Bernie Sanders claims to be a socialist who caucuses with the Democrat Party.
Correct.
So that's what AOC would be, right? So she's not a
AOC
Democrat.
is a Democrat.
She's a socialist who caucuses with the Democrat
She's a progressive.
Party.
She's a progressive Democrat.
Bro, she says it herself. She aligns with Bernie Sanders.
She does align with Bernie Sanders, but she's part of the Democratic Party. And she's a progressive.
She caucuses with them. Do you know what that means?
I know what that means. Her official party title is Democrat, dude. Her official party title is Democrat. Yes or no?
And you claim Democrat.
Her official party title is Democrat. Bernie Sanders' official party title is Independent before he changed it. Right or wrong? Right or wrong?
You're so stupid. You're so stupid.
All right, yeah. All right, so we're gonna go ahead and move on since this guy is a moron. We're just gonna go ahead and move on.
That was just pure ignorance. He seems to operate under the false binary that everything is either Democrat or Republican.
Yeah, definitely. All right, I did have someone else up here. I'm not sure why they dropped, but I did. They said that they can demonstrate that God exists, but they dropped for some reason. So I'm gonna go ahead and invite them, try to bring them back on, see if they want to come back on. But guys, I'm going to probably get out of here in a minute because I've been on for a very, very long time. Been on for about 3 hours, and we're gonna go ahead and end this live soon. But Nishi, welcome to the program. This happens Thursdays through Sundays, and as you can see, I get a lot of crazy people.
Yeah, sounds good. Nisha.
Nisha, I'm so sorry, man. I keep.
It's okay. It's okay. It's okay.
Yeah,
but thank you. I'm glad to be here.
Not a problem. Welcome, and the more you come, the more you'll see. For some reason, I attract the psychopaths. It's yeah. I don't know why. I attract I attract very crazy people.
Yeah, I'm 26, by the way, just for TikTok's sake.
Gotcha. Not a problem. All right. So the last person that said that he can prove God, I guess. I'm sorry. Go ahead. Go ahead.
I have so much fun with that last guy when he pulled the "How old are you?" Because he was 41, and I was gonna pull the once he thought he was gonna have fun saying, "Oh, I'm older, I know better." I was gonna stomp on him with that one.
Yeah, when he thought he ate.
Yeah, when he thought he ate. Because I'm Gen X. Oh.
I knew I spoke to him before. I knew because he sounded so familiar. But yeah, I'm whenever I hear that voice again, I'm just gonna drop them because it's like I already know. But hey guys, I'm gonna go ahead and get out of here. I've been on for about 3 hours. I'm gonna go ahead and take a walk with wifey. We're gonna go ahead and spend some time together. But I appreciate you guys. Love y'all. Appreciate y'all. Hey y'all, remember to follow Empress. I've been on panels with Empress, and very, very intelligent, very informative, has lots of good things to say. Y'all make sure to follow Empress. Empress, tell the people whenever you go live or whatever you do.
Yeah, I follow Empress. I do follow her. She's awesome.
I'm intermittent. I'm going to start going live more often. So I'll just start putting it in my bio when I do.
Definitely. All right. And
Find me
Nisha.
on a lot of panels.
Gotcha. And Nisha, I did get your name right this time. All right. And Nisha, well, do you ever go live? Where can we find you? And sure.
You can just go onto my channel. I haven't done any lives, at least not so far. I'm worried they might give me anxiety, and I wouldn't be too prepared if I were to host a live. But I might someday in the future.
Gotcha. Hey, trust me, doing this, it took me like the first time that I got access to go live, I sat at my phone for an hour with a topic, just looking at my screen because I was so nervous to go live. And then I started doing it, and it is kind of picked up. I'm trying to get up there though. You know what I mean? Once if I start going live every day, maybe I can get to, where people like Dean and Parker is at, if I can get there. But if we'll see if that happens, if it ever happens, and if it ever does, everybody's always going to be welcome on the team. And I appreciate y'all.
Awesome. Thank you.
No problem. All right, guys, we're going to go ahead and get out of here. Like I always said, look out for June. In June, I am going to start having our lives based on positive masculinity, because the red pill needs to die, and we need to have healthier men and healthier discussions with women. This gender divide, I'm getting sick of it. Black femicide, I'm getting sick of it. Just femicide, period. I'm getting sick of it. And we need to raise our boys to reject the Andrew Tates and the Fresh and Fits of the world, because them motherfuckers is dweebs, all right? And they are lying to you.
Guys like
Myron Gaines too.
Reach out to guys like the JEs.
The JEs?
The JEs. I think it's the_J_Es.
Definitely.
Good brother.
I'll reach out to him. Definitely.
Good brother.
Gotcha. I'll definitely reach out to him.
He has been doing stuff like men's mental health Mondays for a long time now.
Gotcha. Ooh, we have one more, guys. One more. We have Stay Woke. We have one more. Stay Woke. I already know his position. Empress, I don't know if you ever talked to him. You ever talked to Stay Woke?
I might have.
Oh man, this is gonna be entertaining. All right, Stay Woke. You're lucky. You're gonna be the last one. Nisha, you're gonna see exactly what I mean. What I was saying. Who people that I attract. All right, Stay Woke. I know that you're over 18, and I know that you want to talk about number 4, number 5. Is that right?
Oh, you know what? How are we doing this evening? First off, thanks for having me up. I'm privileged to be up. But nonetheless, I saw that being woke is good, and I was like, man, that sounds like it's speaking to me. Mm-hmm. So we go ahead and, that was what I was originally wanting to speak to. But yeah, all the prompts are good prompts here. All of them are good.
Okay, cool. Because I thought, because the last time we had a discussion, I thought, from what I could tell, you were a Christian. Is that right?
Right. No, I'm saying they're all good.
They're all good. Okay, cool.
I heard you were saying that you were wrapping up, but yeah, they're all good talking points, because they're all not wrong, but they're all good talking points, right? There is good evidence for a God.
All right, cool.
Faith is reliable. I'm not sure about this left policies. I don't really give much into politics or anything like that.
Not a problem. We can talk about 4 and 5. What do you think?
Not American politics, but
I got you. Woke. What do you think the good evidence is for a God?
I may be repeating myself, but the Bible is excellent evidence for God.
All right.
Yeah,
so
the Bible.
Why is the Bible evidence for God? Because from where I'm standing, that Bible is just claims, it's not really evidence.
Well, so is your position? Let me make sure I understand you correctly. You're saying like no God, like the whole thought and ideal and concept of God is illogical.
As of now, because there's no evidence of such a thing.
Yeah, like by that logic, the Bhagavad Gita could be evidence for the Hindu gods by that same logic.
Right.
Oh, okay. That's something to work with. But to just omit God from reality, like, is that the position?
It's not a position to omit God from reality. What I'm saying is that there is no evidence that this object or creature or being actually exists in our reality. So there's no reason for me to believe that one actually does exist. It's not that I can, go out to my backyard and I'm cutting God out of reality with my plasma sword or whatever. It's just that I have no evidence to think that exists, so I don't believe it.
So I mean, the Bible, and this I can speak from the Bible. What it says there are many gods. Right, that's one, and I believe Jesus even says that we are gods. And so I mean, it's like the ideal and concept of God. I mean, it's pretty relative and common to our everyday life. You know, it's indicative to our natures, our natural beings and self.
Right.
But I mean, the creator. Sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off.
All good. No, I agree that when it comes to human civilization and humankind, gods are ubiquitous throughout all humankind, right? We all came up with different gods because that's just how humanity is. We always make these things up. But when it comes to whether these things actually exist in reality, that's a completely different topic, right? We don't know if a god or any of these gods are actually real, and the Bible simply saying so doesn't necessarily make it true.
I guess I'm curious to know, what are the expectations of existence for God? What do humans expect God to look like and exist?
That would depend on the human. That would depend on the human that you're talking to. But I would say if a God exists, she'll probably look like Anak Yoy. Do you know who Anak Yoy is?
Oh no, I do not know.
Let me show y'all something.
I mean, it's just a thought. Like, I mean, what would we expect God to be in existence? What we expect for him to have daily. And in the Bible, it says he walked with Adam, but those days are over. You know, we're in a fallen world now. So
yeah, apparently we're in a fallen world.
But I mean, in a fallen world.
So if a God,
like, how would we expect God to?
If a God were to exist, I would expect her to look like this. All right, this is how I would expect a God to look, because that woman there is one of the most gorgeous ones I ever laid my eyes across. All right, so if a God were to exist, that's exactly how I would expect a God to look like. Yeah, I mean, because that's a heavenly presence right there. Yeah, I mean.
Hey man, well, I feel you, brother. I feel you. I feel like you pray to God for him to send you one of his daughters, and you be not far from what you actually be on the right track with that one. You know? Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Come here real quick. I know. Come here real quick. You see, I got my own Anak Yoy right here. Yeah, you feel what I'm saying? Come say hi to the people. Come say hi to the people. You see,
hi, people.
Yeah,
I have no bra on.
You see my beautiful one right here? Yeah. You see?
Hey, that's what's up. Congratulations to y'all both.
So
I love
that's
that.
What that's what God would look like if a God were to exist.
That's what it's all about.
Her skin is. Tell her I said her skin is skinning.
Empress said your skin is skinning, baby.
You're blessed.
Yeah. See, that's what God would look like.
You're blessed. You're a blessed man.
Exactly. But no.
You're a blessed man. You're a blessed man. I mean.
I appreciate you. No, but seriously, if a God were to interact with our everyday lives, I would expect them, or it, or whatever, he, she, whatever it would be, to have like consistent interactions, because apparently, according to at least what the Bible says, or what Christian theology would say, is that the God wants to have a relationship with us. So if that's the case, just like how my mom and my dad call me, every Sunday, I would expect the God to, show up in that same way. But you already spoken to me for a time. We're about 9 minutes out. I know Empress and Nisha wants to come in on the conversation. So Empress, Nisha, whatever you guys got to say, you guys have the floor. Go ahead.
I got an easy one. So given that you use the Bible as your proof of it being real, would you then not expect that the Bible would be correct in the Word of God in all cases, correct?
Yes, no, right? It's yes with exceptions. There's always exceptions, right? There's always exceptions.
It is the Word of God.
But there's always exceptions, right? Let's establish that.
Given that it's the Word of God,
there's always exceptions.
Should not the God be able to transmit his word in a perfected form. And even
It sounds like based on your expectations.
Wait, hold on. Even if you say that the God could not transmit his word in a perfected form, should not a God be able to make corrections to that form within, say, 500 years?
I mean, I feel like you have expectations for God, and I try not to do that personally. It's like, I just take it as it comes, and what is. But I mean, for me to expect something from God, it's almost like a baby expecting. That's a bad analogy. It's just I can't expect anything from God. I can't expect anything from the Creator. It's like I'm just grateful to exist.
You know what? Let me give you a couple really, really basic examples. So we're gonna do this one first. Okay, so I'm not sure how familiar you are with this story, but do you know of when? Are you familiar with when David performed the census? Yes.
Yep.
Okay, so who would you say incited David to perform the census? Because see, here's the thing. The Bible, depending on which book you read, actually tells us two different things, and they are starkly different. So 2 Samuel 24:1 states that the Lord's anger burned against Israel, and he, meaning the Lord, incited David to conduct the census. 1 Chronicles 21:1 says that Satan rose up against Israel and incited David to perform the census. Now, that's not a small mistake when you start confusing the Lord with Satan. Would you say that that's a small error, or would you say that those are big conflicts?
Small errors.
Small errors?
Considering men wrote the Bible, considering that like human beings.
Confusing the Lord and Satan?
Small error.
Capital. We're not talking. That's
to me, it's a small error. That's a very small error. It's minuscule.
I don't know, man, because that opens up a huge theological can of worms, doesn't it? Because Satan is supposed to be like the evil entity, right? And God's supposed to be the loving good one. And both
he is
stories
supposed to be the accuser.
Yeah.
Right.
See,
Okay.
we too deep. We too woke. I mean, it's not.
Wait. Would you say that if you have 4 people who were supposed to be at an event, that they should give the same story, let's say, of what your last words were? Yes.
In modern times, like with myself, yeah. I would expect that from another person if she was there, but
lovely.
To a certain level too, right? To a certain point, it's like people,
Let's see if
they be messing up too.
So, this is not going to come up too well on your screen, but okay, cool. So, when we look at what the Gospels say were Jesus's last words on the, when he got taken out, the 4 Gospels actually give 4 different stories. Now, I will say Matthew and Mark very, very close because Matthew kind of copied off of Mark. So they're very close in what they say. You can go to Mark 15. Let's see, 34 through 37. And look at Matthew 27, 46 through 50. And the really the only difference in them is what the quote, which is Eloi, Eloi, lima, and I will always butcher this, sabachthani, right? As opposed to Eli, Eli, lima sabachthani, right? And it says, when some of the bystanders heard it, they said, "Listen, he is calling for Elijah." Someone ran, filled a sponge with sour wine, put it on a stick, and gave it to him to drink. saying, wait, let us see whether Elijah will come to take him down. Jesus gave a cry and breathed his last. Okay, so they're very, very similar, but, except for, a couple of words, very, very similar. However, in Luke 24:36, then Jesus, crying out with a loud voice, said, Father, into your hands I commend my spirit. Having said this, he breathed his last. In John 19:30, when Jesus had received the wine, he finished. Oh, sorry. No, when Jesus had received the wine, he said, it is finished. Then he bowed his head and gave up his spirit. 4 gospels, 4 people who supposedly lived their lives by him, and yet 4 different stories. Isn't that weird? Wouldn't you think that the word of God should be perfect? Yeah, that at least 3 out of the 4 should get it exactly the same, and yet no 2 got it exactly the same.
Yeah.
Would that not suggest to you that this is a problem with this being your proof of the word of God? And that's just 2 of the many examples of the imperfection that can be found in the supposed word of God.
Yeah, the Bible is like riddled with contradictions. I would also like to add that those 4 authors that like have the names of like the writers of the Gospels, a lot of modern Christians basically say that those are the 4 authors, right? And that definitively that's who their names were. But that's actually not the consensus of scholars. The consensus of scholars, the people who are actually experts in this sort of thing and know more what they're talking about because they've studied it their entire lives, the consensus among them is that those names are not even empirically demonstrated or proven, but really just assumed as placeholders. And that in reality, the authors are anonymous.
Makes sense, Stay?
Yeah, those are all minor discrepancies. I mean, again, considering they are drafted by man. And, we have man drafting the Bible. And it sounds like a biblical game of telephone if you really want to, be with a sense of humor about it. It's like, modern games of telephone don't work.
Yeah. See what I mean, Nisha?
But the Bible was supposed to be your proof of God.
Yeah, I agree. It is much like a game of telephone. That's precisely why it doesn't work.
Now you're saying that very, very imperfect, and now you're saying fallible document should not be trusted. And so if we can't trust it, why should we believe that it is proof of God?
Oh, no, I didn't say we shouldn't trust it. It's totally trustworthy.
It's totally
again, but these are minor discrepancies.
All right, but here's the problem. These are trustworthy, but these are not minor discrepancies. These are major theological plot holes. Like, these are not minor, bro. Like, this is the Lord of mankind, right? The Savior of mankind, and the people who apparently are writing down his story do not know what his last words were. They don't agree on that. It's a huge theological can of worms, because now which story should we trust? Which one of those are right? If any of them are. So
much less
there's not one story.
The Lord with Satan? The Lord and Satan? Should we be worshiping Satan? That's another big issue.
I want to say that.
Go ahead.
You shouldn't put so much emphasis on. You shouldn't put so much emphasis on a scripture here or there. Like cherry picking scriptures and putting all of your, eggs in one basket, or a few baskets, rather. It just doesn't seem. It doesn't seem wise. It's like we know this is it. And if this is what you were brought up in or indoctrinated in, to have a sense of humor, it's like, for what reason would you, like, it speaks to a larger issue when you hit a point in life and you turn away from what you were brought up in. It's like, it speaks.
I don't think you're really actually, here's the thing, State. I think you think that you're responding to what we're bringing up here, but you're actually not. We're not talking about, what we're brought up in, etc. We're saying that.
No, I'm not. I was pivoting there.
Yeah. These are major theological issues, right? So it's like, how can we trust this still?
Yeah, it's not cherry picking. It's literally pointing out major discrepancies. This isn't stuff that like are minor details that for all we know don't even have to be contradictions, like how many angels were at the tomb. This is stuff like how did Judas die? Who carried the cross? How does salvation work?
How does salvation work? Well, that's
is it faith alone or is it by works too?
It's by faith alone.
No, but there's also a verse that says
by
that
faith
faith
alone.
is dead and that works are required for it.
Yeah, see, that's
so which is it?
So Paul.
I'm telling you, it's faith alone. You can believe me or not.
Nope. So here's the thing: Paul bastardizes the message of Christ. So which do you pick now? Do you pick Christ's message or what many churches go with, which is Paul's message?
Or James's message, who says that faith without works is dead and that works are required for justification.
Yeah, faith without works are dead. That is 100% true.
So it's not by faith alone.
Right. I stand corrected. I stand corrected. Faith without works is dead. Well, I was trying to be short at first, but yeah, I mean, I'm glad you stay at that because that is to be more complete. Faith without works is completely dead.
Here's the thing, Stay. That's also a major theological debate happening in between Christians on faith alone or works to require. You know what I mean? So it's like these are our major issues, right? So why should we still trust this thing?
There aren't any works to require, right? It's just, faith without works. Like to have faith and to not act, to not put that faith into action. What are you really doing? I mean, that's just, you don't even have to have the Bible to understand that one, right? Let's put the Bible to the side. Faith without actions is dead. You can sit around and hope all day to win a lottery. You got to go play it to at least have a chance at winning.
Yeah, exactly. So faith is useless.
Yeah, see, like the entire context of that verse in James too, the context of that before he says that is he is specifically asked about Paul's position of faith alone, and the people ask him, can such faith without works save them? And he blatantly basically answers no, and that works are also required.
Well, so what works would you implement without faith? Like, how does that look like? What does that look like?
I mean, going to your
faith
job
comes before the works.
I mean, go to your job every day. All right.
But he brought up why would you stop following something that you had been indoctrinated into since childhood? So stay woke. I believe you are.
I was being funny when I said indoctrinated.
Wait, no. You are a black man, are you not?
Yes, I am.
Okay, cool. So would you say now that you are willing to follow someone who says that slavery is, would it be a good slave?
I'm sorry, you got going out real bad.
Yeah, you went out there for a second.
Would you say that you should you say that you should be willing to follow somebody who suggests that slavery is a positive thing and tells you to be a good slave? That you and your children can become chattel slaves passed from one generation to another.
Yeah, this is the popular go-to, it sounds like, for every lie. It's like this.
It's a very
here's my take on it. It sounds like everyone, but it's so trivial. These are all trivial things that are meaningless, and it's like, I mean, really, when you read the Bible and consider it in its full context, you understand what's going on.
You are telling me now that slavery is trivial, correct?
I hope he's not saying that.
It can be a trivial matter. Yeah.
Slavery
wordplay, semantics, historical context, all that stuff.
All right,
it can be a trivial matter. Considering all things.
Hey, woke. For our history, me, you, and Empress, for our history, is slavery trivial?
Yeah, like, is that suffering? Is all that suffering trivial?
You went out there for a good 10 seconds again.
Okay, I'll ask again. For myself, for you, for Empress. I'm not sure if Nisha is black, but for our history, as a matter of fact, even if Nisha is not black, I'm talking about for Western society, and personally for us as black people, for our history, do you think slavery was trivial?
Absolutely not.
Right. Okay, cool. So
that was something
it was something huge.
That was
exactly.
It's
a huge turning point in history.
Yeah, the newest type of.
Cool. It's a huge turning point. I gotta go soon, y'all, just to let y'all know. So I think that's what Empress is going to be pointing out here, essentially. Right, Empress? With the verses about being a good slave. Yeah.
So we're not going to consider like all things we're going to talk about. We're going to apply biblical slavery to modern slavery. Okay.
Yes, because biblical slavery
was very similar to modern slavery. And in fact, if you were to look at what transpired, especially in the US, it is what our system was built on. They used the Bible for justification. And just last Sunday, the Pope apologized for that.
Mm-hmm.
Pay attention, slave.
Yeah, I heard that. It makes good for TV. Who's next? That's my question. Who's next going to come out and apologize? Who's coming out next to apologize? It makes good for TV, guys. Turn that TV off.
Just prior to that, the Scottish Church had come out and apologized.
Mm-hmm. So the thing is, what we're trying to point out here.
I'm not clapping for that, though. Honestly,
no,
that doesn't mean that affects me in no way, shape, or form.
Understood. But what we're trying to point out, State, is that the way that it operated in the West, what happened to us, our ancestors, and what happened to Western society because of this, they took a lot of that from the Bible itself.
I mean, from my understanding, hear me out. There's a little bit of my theory and just a little bit of what I know. But I mean, the Bible,
Since you're kind of wishy-washy,
Jewish Bible, the history.
I would like to offer you the opportunity, since I am a woman with an autoimmune disorder, and my son is just about to go off to college, I would like to offer you the opportunity to become my slave. Now, the benefits are very, very good. You'll have your own room, food, clothing, shelter, cable,
Hey, y'all. I'm sorry, y'all. I'm sorry, y'all. I would love to keep this going, but we're creeping on to 4 hours, and I gotta get off, man. Me and wife gotta spend some time together. So
damn it. I always lose out on the opportunity to get a slave.
yeah.
Jesus, you are the second person to do this.
It's been nice chatting. That was
I'm sorry, but I do gotta get out of here, y'all, because it's I know. But go ahead and answer that question.
You gotta get an EIN number.
Go ahead, Stay. Go ahead and answer that question for Empress before we get out of here. Go ahead.
I'm sorry, she's asking me like for how to get slaves. I mean,
no,
where it was going.
No, I'm giving you the opportunity to be my slave. The benefits are good, streaming, not only cable, your own bedroom, food, shelter, clothing, streaming channels. I'll even give you off Wednesday nights for.
I'm sorry, but I'm currently a 20-year slave, and I'm very satisfied. 20-year happy, satisfied slave. Yep.
Okay, cool. All right, y'all. We're gonna go ahead and get out of here. Yeah, because yeah.
Okay. Oh, by the
See
way,
what I mean, Nisha.
Yeah. Before you do though, I just want to say before you all get out of here, just for future reference, that you all were talking about the experiences of like you all as black people. I will say though, because you said like you don't know if I'm black, I will say I am not black. I am definitely white. So therefore, I do have the privilege of never having experienced any of that stuff.
Gotcha.
For future reference.
Not a problem. Hey, I appreciate you though, Nisha. Definitely come on back. Tomorrow, I think I'm gonna be on with Black Atheist Rants. We're doing Black People Should Not Be Christian, Muslim, or Hebrew Israelite. I don't know if you know who Dougal is, but Dougal actually does white people should not be Christian, which is amazing. Yeah. That one is always hilarious because you get people coming in on that one hot and angry, asking why shouldn't white people be Christian. But hey, I do appreciate you all. Thank you so much, Empress, for being here. I hope you all have a good night. I got to go ahead and get out of here, and I'm gonna be spending the night rubbing my wife's feet because I'm close to 4 hours and it's late in the day, and I want to spend some time with her. But I appreciate you guys. Appreciate you all.